How about now? Can you hear me now? This is unbelievable. Unfucking believable. Alright, kids. I'm losing you all. I gotta redo this. Alright? So give me a minute. I will be back. For some reason, no, I was trying to go back to the same stream so we didn't have to add it. Jesus Christ. What a day. All right. We should be hunky dory at this point. Now let's see if Twitter works, because that would be fucking cool. Excuse my language there, fellas. So I can invite my guest, because I know that he needs to get to bed. Wow, are Twitter DMs down? Is this what's going on here? Wow, this really sucks. I've never had this happen before. So interesting. All right, well, you're gonna have to live with me for about 30 seconds. I think the Twitter DMs are down, so I'm gonna try to do this another way, if and we can. I want to bring in my guests, Mr. Sperg Snake and um, all right, so that went out, and Rochi is far too good for this. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Break my balls. It's not like you fucking people never have a problem. And it is what it is. So just like give me 10 seconds here. Do a little sending some other stuff, and we will rock and roll this. Yeah, for some reason my computer, it's not working on my computer, and I don't know why. But, you know, if I didn't do this, you wouldn't have anything to complain about, and nothing would be fun, so you, yeah, I did, because I did send you a link that said there, because I'm not able to send it from my computer, so I was trying to see if it worked for my phone, and I am sending you a link right now. So just let's all calm down. All right? We should all get through this, as difficult as it may seem. Yes, we are getting Sperg Snake, hopefully. If this all works out, let's just do another one. And kids, we should have it. Do 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 do. Yes, Sperg Snake was insisted upon. So let's give it a second here. There we go. Link was sent to Echo. You should have it. Do you have it? Do you have it? Let me know. So I should have just started the stream at 6:45. It all would have worked out better. Oh, and I'm not even wearing a hat. What a problem that could be. Most of the chat will be on stream shortly. It will be. It will be. All right. So, and then Echo, you'll send it to Sperg, and then you guys will join me. So I have a very special edition of Schmuel Talk tonight. I have one of my favorite people, who is Mr. Echo Pineapple, who's been sort of missing from our universe. And Echo is here and has been added to the stage. And Echo, good evening, my friend.
Hello. Good
How
evening, Schmuel.
Oh, wow. You changed your studio since last I saw you.
Have I? Oh, gosh.
Oh, I don't remember Club Pineapple.
Drinks are free. That's what we like about Club Pineapple. Yes.
Okay, if you...
I sent Sperg the link in Discord.
Cool. Are you all able to hear Sperg? Here's Sperg Snake.
Hey.
Hey, man. How are you?
Excellent. How are you?
Good.
Pleasure to talk to you in person.
Can you hear the pineapple? Pineapple talk.
Speak.
Can you not hear me? He's been acting as if he was talking to me.
I can hear you. You're very faint, though.
Yes.
But
Okay,
on stream, your volume on stream is better. It does sound like you're using the room mic instead of your microphone, though, if I had to be honest.
Yeah, it has switched over. Give me a sec.
Yeah, the boomer thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought I'd join in. I thought it'd be fun.
Yeah, okay. Now I get it.
So
this beam of light is pissing me off. I don't know why it started today, but there's like my overhead light. I can turn it off, but then it's that dark, and I can't. I'm already dark enough. I'm wearing a black t-shirt.
What about this?
Is this there you go.
Much better.
That's a sexy velvety voice we want.
It fucked up so many different things when I reset my computer, Sperg. So I'm glad certain things are working. Right, tech issues are over. Let's roll. Let's do it.
Yeah, my computer would not recognize my microphone, which kept not driving me crazy. All right, kids. So we're here, Sperg Snake. It is very cool to talk to you in person, if that's what
Yes,
we call
absolutely.
this. I think we've chatted back and forth on different things, but here we are. So this is we're here tonight. I guess we're going to ask the question: is Karmic good or bad for the dabbleverse? What do we? What? No, seriously. What do we think about the sort of quick rise of Karmic and other people in dabbleverse? But he's the hot topic at the moment. So
Sure.
instead of playing around, and we'll just get right into it.
Okay, so a little behind the curtain. Schmuel told me earlier that we have to give shit to Karmic and we have to like make him look really bad. And I said that's not what me and Sperg are about. We're going to be fair. We're going to be honest, and we're going to give him a fair shake. So I'm sorry. We're not going to do the quadfather stab in the back thing. We're gonna be fair to our friend Karmic.
Right, which is exactly the opposite of what I said to you. So thank you for getting that to me. And I just asked that we be honest, but I also said this isn't this. I don't want to do this as a
How
hate
insulting!
Piece.
How insulting, Sperg. He went to me. Don't be trashing Karmic for no reason. I went, why would I do that?
That's not what I said.
no.
What I said was I didn't want people to think it was a hit piece. That was my like. You can trash them all you want. You can talk about what you want, but I didn't want people to think that the three of us got together to set out and shit on this guy, because that's not what happened.
That's what the Pat Dixon problem is with him right now. It's 3-on-1. It's Doug, Pat, and Taz, and they're all ganging up on me. It's me against the damn world. From very northern Minnesota. He's closer to Canada than he is any real American city. He's really far up there, and yeah, I'm not going to have to trash talk him. I just got to repeat what he says to everybody else and let them make their judgment. But you first, Pineapple. What do you think about Karmic?
So he's a breath of fresh air, honestly, in this style boomerfield dabbleverse. A drunk 30 to 40-year-old something is exactly what we needed. He's caught the attention of pretty much everyone. Some of his shows are getting like 120, 130 people just naturally watching it at any time for hours on end. I think it's brilliant. He's not quite at the level of the Chad Zumox, not yet, but he's already exceeded Ray DeVito within the first week, which is pretty cool. I'm sure he'll be getting steel toe numbers in no time. But yeah, he's going to disappear. I think, unfortunately, I got a really bad feeling that he's just going to one day just not be here anymore and just fuck off. But
okay, do you want to go next, Mr.
No,
Schmuel,
go,
or
Sperg.
should
You
I
go.
Okay,
You go.
I agree. With that, the Dabbleverse needed this. This is definitely 100%. He's fresh. It's new. We got new lore going on. It involves people we already know or are familiar with to some extent. And he came out of nowhere. And for me, it was already apparent. I have been watching him the entire time this last 4 months. I am a person who was watching Karmic when he was playing Tekken or Forza or any of the other
shit.
times.
Okay. Oh, nice.
No, go back 4 months ago where his videos were getting 60 to 100 views. He was still killing me. People were wanting to watch him for him, but I don't think it was going fast enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been doing this a year and a little over, and I'm just now trying to hit 150. Yay! And I explained earlier on my stream that I like that. I like being a cult classic. I'm not looking to be number one guy around here. I don't want to be a guy, period. I just like hanging out with all of you. Like, this is fun for me. I said it on Clown Time. This is therapy. And I think Karmic's doing the same thing. He's trying to reach out and get some therapy out of this and monetize it at the same time. And there's a lot of things he's doing that is entertaining. is also a large recipe for disaster. He has calmed down in the drinking in the past 2 days. I think he drank today earlier,
yes.
but he was on
of
MLC
ciders,
this afternoon and he was fine.
Mhm.
So, you know, he's not losing, so he thinks he's doing something right.
So I watch quite a lot of Karmic, and the fact that you kind of said you've been watching him from 4 months ago makes me go, oh, brilliant. Okay, so I've got someone I can ask for the like. But I started watching when he reacted to Nobody Likes Onions. So like pretty much we're like, oh, you came in here a month ago, and I'm like, yes, I've watched him all month. Whereas you're like, no, I've been watching him before he kind of kicked off.
Yeah.
What I want to know is, has Schmuel actually watched any of it, or does he just watch a clip every so often and go, oh yeah, let's discuss Carmax. 1 second, let's see what this Carmax is doing.
No, I've watched it, quite a bit of it. Not probably as much as other people. I've some of it is a bit repetitive, and you know my questions are basically the same one: is the fight with Pat Dixon staged? Not between him and Pat, but is he doing that thing of, all right, I want to get noticed, so let me just attack the big guys, and then I'll do it. And we went through the week of all the Melton trashing, et cetera, and then he got set up faster on super tips than anybody that I've ever seen. And
To quote Moody, yes.
it takes,
Because
you
they
know,
responded to him quicker. That's
well, but it's the setting up of the Stripe account, right? The Stripe account takes usually, 24, 48 hours. It's not like it's immediate.
Yeah,
So
that's-
that had to have been set up before.
That's nothing to do with him. Yeah, exactly. That's just
Wait,
him
wait.
having a Stripe account. Go on.
You can set up and activate a Stripe account day one and send the API and every backend thing day one. You can't cash out day one. You have to wait 48 hours for money to come out. You can start getting transactions right then, but you do have to build a reputation with Stripe, so that way they trust you to deposit the money because it's an electronic transaction. People can charge back quickly, so they want to make sure they have a good working relationship to a certain degree. Stripe does. And that's why it seemed so fast, because Karmic isn't an idiot. As a matter of fact, I would say he's the youngest person on Super Tips, other than the pretty antisocial ladies.
Hey.
And maybe, I'm sorry, you know what?
How old do you think I am, you motherfucker?
You're immortal, dude. You're ageless. You have zero age. No, that's right. I know how old you are. I won't say, but yeah. No, he's a little bit older than you, but you know what? You understand what I'm saying, though. Like, because Melton's older than me. Dixon's older than me. Doug's older than me. Everybody else that's on it, a little bit older of a guy. So yeah, I can see it being slower and being more boomer for certain people who aren't tech savvy. He was already in there. I'm coming from the corporate mindset. So he knows how to do form filling and stuff,
So Schmuel, are you the oldest person on Super Tips?
I don't think so, but I have no idea.
Okay.
That could be Bubba.
It's not something that would.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, good shout.
I wouldn't have an issue. I mean, it's not something I'd pursue. But it was, look, compared to everyone else that's gotten on Super Tips, it was the most rapid Super Tip setup we've seen. And especially since the week before, he didn't want it. He didn't want to deal with the people.
That's when I was
now,
Yep.
Hackamania was that weekend, and Moody was saying that he's a guy that would be perfect for Super Tips. And he'd been talking to him about it. So, look, I'm not going to begrudge the guy for wising up. You look at Kevin, right, on MLC complaining for months about what his net is, and he could easily increase that by just doing Super Tips, but he won't do it because
20%. Yep.
the biting his nose to spite his face, So,
30-40%.
so, I'm not going to say that about Karma. I'm just wondering, like, this stuff, is it not? I know that the Dixon thing is not staged, at least not on Pat's part, but this going after these bigger guys, was this him trying to get attention?
Absolutely.
Of course, but if you look
But is
at,
it real?
Like, no. Well, yeah, he's really trying to get attention. But if you look at like Chad Zumok, for example, like, no disrespect, but Chad will have his Kumia's cucks where he goes, target. He probably doesn't actually care about half of them, like reality in terms of what they've done to offend him or why they're his enemy. They're just like, well, let's play the odds. Yes. Okay. So I'm the bad guy. Cool. Let's see if I can get any attention from these 5 to 6 people. And yeah, that's what he's doing. But I think, Schmuel, where you probably miss out on the actual beauty of Karmic, and in a really weird way, he's so much better than Joey C, but in a weird way, it's similar, is when you're just watching so much of it, that's what's so good about it, is he will do like a 4 or 5 hour stream and you'll just be sitting there like just doing your work or just like kind of doing some editing or just playing a game, and you'll just be like just listening to him and you're like, I've been listening to this motherfucker for 4 hours. And the fact that someone can do that in itself is impressive, regardless of if he's trying to get attention on it. But
that's how that fat onion got my attention. I caught myself listening to 4-hour shows, and I'm chuckling every so often. So I understand the appeal. And Schmuel said, he's not gonna get on Karmic too much for capitulating and bending the knee to Melton, but that's why I think it's a staged thing, because he was talking corporate mindset. Melton's got soft hands. Moody's got a shit-stained forehead. Like, he was going hard. And then Moody was like, hey, you want super tips? Yes. You know what I mean? Like, and Moody did it from his laptop in Vegas. Like, they helped him. I want to make sure that everybody knows that Moody and Melton were very good to him, despite how he acted.
Right.
And Melton said that himself, but...
let's be honest as well, though. Sorry to bring up this has-been loser who's left the dabbleverse no one cares about, but Joey C was the same. He was kind of like, I can never forgive Melton. He said all these horrible things about my family. He's the worst. He's a fat piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, hey, do you want super tips? He's like, yeah, sure, please, thank you. It's like I don't know what people expect.
He's
not monetized. He's not monetized at the moment, Karmic, either. And he might not be. I think he's having some issues with YouTube. So I don't know what people think.
I think the Joey C thing, right? It's a comparison, but I don't know how fair of a comparison it is, because Joey's an idiot. I mean, let's just face it. And he really thought when he was monetized with YouTube that he was going to make all sorts of money and et cetera, et cetera. And then he was going to sue, and then I'm sure in his mind, he really thought he was going to sue Melton and win millions of dollars for using his voice. And it wasn't until the reality of that struck him that he went and got super tips. But Melton, now Karmic must have some, obviously Karmic has computer knowledge and stuff, because Joey needed a lot of help from outside that he wasn't able to get from Moody and from Melton.
Shout out Corn Diff, birthday boy.
Corn Diff, I guess, helped him. So he had a lot of, but Karmic did that. I think what I think happened was, I think Karmic thought he was gonna get monetized by YouTube, and when he got the numbers that should get him monetized, he didn't get monetized, and that was what.
Or he's waiting. For. Yeah, because when you get monetized, you then have to kind of like apply, like you have to wait till you're eligible for monetization, and then they go, brilliant, now do this, now wait for this to turn up, now wait for. So it does take a little bit of time as well, and like we've said, he's been doing it for about a month properly, I mean, with like proper viewers, and I think it's 2 weeks ago that he hit the criteria for it, so he could turn up tomorrow with memberships. It's not been that long. I remember when people were like, oh, Echo, you've got the numbers, have you got the watch hours? I'm like 100 hours away. Then I hit the 100 hours, and then it was like 2-3 weeks till I had a stream where I could go, oh, you can get a super chat, you can do a membership. So
that makes no sense to me, because that should be moving faster. It's electronic. They see it, you see it. Okay,
no, it's stupid. Yeah, it's mad.
But that also makes me think that there's not a lot of people working for YouTube. I think there's probably less than 10K people working at capacity at YouTube, something like that, maybe more. I'm just
potentially.
And super tip money is such a small amount of money for YouTube that they make. It's probably not their highest priority.
Right. So
compared to advertising,
Yeah, Sperg can probably help with this as well. People are kind of like, oh, super tip, that's like such a completely different thing. Like, how can you possibly have some way of donating to a show without having super chats? But like,
Well,
you'll know from
very
watching
grateful.
streams with Twitch and what have you, they have loads of ways of doing that. This is just a different way, which is cool for us. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm glad you brought that up, because that's exactly where the line of thinking was going. Super tip, here's the benefit to super tip. AI voices that sound like people we know that can say anything we make them say, and you get 90-10 split. That's the big benefit. Now, the next competitor in my mind would be Streamlabs, or whichever one. I think it's Streamlabs, where you can donate whatever and play media. Except that's a higher risk, because there's people that'll troll, and it'll start out as a song, and then it'll be the N-word 45 times in a row, and you're in trouble.
Sure.
So yeah, there are benefits and things that are for super tips, but it's not the only avenue. I can literally bill you right now from Stripe. I have a Stripe account. I can invoice Echo $100 and tell him he owes me money. Yep, that's it. Yep.
Right,
It's
but
the other way
invoicing
around.
Echo is not the same as him putting up a comment on your
Right,
stream
right.
where
That's
they
the
can see
thing.
you, and that's the.
But like in the fashion of toe, though, like Streamlabs, PayPal, Venmo, super tips, super chats, memberships, Cash App. How many others can Bitcoin?
Yeah, you can do the ability to see what people are actually getting. Like, you can tell whether if you're getting PayPal and Venmo, I have no idea whether you're telling me the truth or not. With super chats, I can look it up on Playboard, although it doesn't include the members, I know. And with super tips, I can see it, right? You can see it coming up on the screen. So there's a certain amount of, and from what I've seen, Karmic has been kicking ass on super tips.
And I'll be honest. So we only know what we get told, yeah. So we don't know 100% what's happening and what's the truth of it. People saying, he's lost his job, he's cashed in his 401k, he's like in a really bad situation. And if that's the case, does anyone really begrudge him kind of getting, like, people are, super tips are bad? It's like, yeah, but he's getting like $50 or like $100 earlier than he would have.
I don't think anybody begrudges him anything.
That's not.
I reckon they do.
The
The amount of people that go, don't use super tips, don't donate super tips, only use super chats, and they're like, he hasn't got super chats, and you're not sending him anything on Venmo.
Right, but that's another war, right? They're in a fight with Melton, and that's not
Sure.
That has
So
nothing
that's
to
what
do
that's
with
why I'm
him.
saying that. Yes, it is. It's everything to do with him, because he's the one who's getting people telling him, you shouldn't be doing this. I'm not paying this. People dox my information if I use super tips. And I'm saying they're just using that to obviously troll him with regards to it. And the poor sod gets trolled left, right, and center from everyone, every fucking angle. And I think when it comes down to, just let him get a few quid. Like, just leave the super tips thing for a while until he's monetized, and then moan about it if you want it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but that's not gonna. I mean, come on, let's be honest. That's not gonna happen. And let's hope he's smart enough to know that he's being trolled. And the same people that are saying they wouldn't super tip probably wouldn't super chat either. So,
and that's also a fair point, because there is that. There's people that show up in the chat and deliberately they can't get off the Melton MAP thing or something like that. Oh, you were on the blah, blah, blah. And yeah, he's getting trolled from that side for that. But my problem was, like you were talking at the top of the show, why did he burn that bridge with Pat Dixon? He had no reason to.
I didn't like that.
And
that's one thing I didn't like, because I quite like that he was a Pat Dixon boy. And I was like, I don't really know Pat Dixon much, but that's cool. We got someone new from a different area who isn't massively dabbleverse like related. And then just a little bit of shit talk from Liam on MLC saying, you need to be defending Papa Brennan when you're on these streams. And all of a sudden he turns on him. And I'm like, oh, wow.
See, and that's the thing. I don't play that shit. I will say what I think and feel about whomever. Do I like Dixon more than Brennan? Yeah. Do I think Pat Dixon's a comedic genius? No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that about Kevin Brennan either. And Karmic has said that about both. So his opinion is a wash. But the reason I think he did it was to, like, Uh-oh, look, here it is. Bow, 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 bow. He's punching. He hit at Melton. Melton's fans hit back. He let off and got super tips. He was going after Dixon to please Papa Brennan. Brennan pays him, I'm sure. We'll give him $100 for being on. It's $100. Who cares? I see what Brennan makes almost every day. It's over $300 or $400 super chats, super tip, whatever it is. So financially, it makes sense for him to be on Brennan's team. The problem is the fans that he's cultivating. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want a lot of Brennan fans or Pat Dixon fans mingling, because this is what happens. You know, kind of just stay over there or stay over there. You know, and
it is a weird old chat. It's a weird old chat, isn't it?
I think so. And he is getting trolled from every side. He modded everybody one day, and he doesn't know any of these people.
Yeah. Sorry,
I've been watching Dixon for quite a while, right? And Karmic has been on Dixon for quite a while, you know, with the chats and everything else. And then one day I saw a super chat to Brennan where, I don't know, Pat Dixon was a spirit animal, but MLC was the number one guy. And that's how he always looks to. And that's what made me think it was a work from the beginning, like that Karmic was wanted to create this problem. And then I think maybe he got drunk and he started talking about Taz, and he went a little too far, and then didn't know how to back out of it. And as of today, he still has not watched the video that he did where he was waxing poetic about how much he loves Taz, because he can't he can't watch himself drunk.
He said he didn't watch any of that back. He have no idea what he said for those 2 weeks in that bottle of Crown. He has no idea. And that's what he said it the other day, and it was my favorite thing of the day, because I know he's referring to me as at least one of them. But he was like, Pat's minions are sticking me with toothpicks when they need to come with spears. I'm like, dude, you're reading every fucking comment like every other lol cow. You see because I'm leaving comments on Brandon Tep's channel, or Brandon's channel.
Shout out
Stallion's
Brandon
clip. On our Clipper crew, Doom, you know, all these people are clipping him, and I'm like, this motherfucker, blah, blah, blah. And he said this, and this is what, and now he's doing that. That's all I ever did. He's doing this, then he's doing that. And then he doesn't like hearing that. A lot of people don't like I don't like having a mirror held up to me, you know what I mean? And so I think he's reading those comments. He's like, I'm starting to look a little contradictory. And like you say, he got drunk, he crossed the line, he brought Doug and Taz into it. Both of them. Right. They had nothing to do with him. It was sweet Karmic up until a month ago. And so
Taz is such a nice person. Like, Taz is she's just nice. And she's friendly to everyone unless she has a specific reason not to be. And, you know, for a guy who's telling me how much he understands life and how much he understands all the people around him and all of these things, and then to be like, I'm in love with a girl who's 1,000 miles away who I've never met, it just seemed a little weird to me. I was like, at least MKE had met Mazzy, you know? And what was he expecting? Like, what was she supposed to do? What was his reaction?
That's the thing. What was she supposed to do? Like, dude, that's kind of weird. And there, you know, he mentioned before that he commissioned art from Taz. And we know what Karmic's art style is like. He asked Taz to draw that for him. How Karmic didn't see that would make her uncomfortable, I don't know. You know, hey, draw me a big booba girl. I'll pay you $100. And she's cool with it. Sure, I'll draw. And I think that weirded her out a little bit, and she started treating him different. And it may have gone, like, radio silent. Like, they might have been texting each other, like DMing each other, talking about art and stuff all the time. And then one day something happens and she's just not there for him like that. And then he confesses, I cared for her. She was my good friend. We're artists. We understand each other. And that's the problem. I haven't gone back to clip. I'm pretty sure he said, you reveal certain things about yourself to certain people and then they don't see you in the same light anymore. And I think that might have been why. And that was news to me over this last month. His art style is very juvenile to me. Like I remember drawing that shit in 7th grade, specifically that kind of stuff, and you know why? Because I'm in 7th grade. I'm 13. Things are moving, So
Right. So Sperg, you
like,
know him a lot more than I do in regards to at least the background stories as well, information. With the songs that he has, let's be honest, so many bangers for a start. But what did he do to those songs? Like, what did he do? So, for example, a lot of people just think he went on Suno and do a song about Ghost Party, and it played that, and I'm like, no, that's a lot better than.
Yeah,
Oh,
you can tell when some of them are just like with Suno, you can put lyrics in, and I think he did have some poetry or song lyrics or whatever lying around.
Yes.
He is a creative person. He does dialogue writing.
Is that essentially
it's not
where
that hard for
he's
him.
created it though? Is that where the actual music's come from? Like from somewhere like Suno? Or because I'm like, that's not his voice, so he didn't sing it. And everyone's like, oh, it's AI. I'm like, right, okay, but it seems better than a lot of the AI. So what has he done?
He's paying
has
for
he
it
just
as well, though.
Right,
So,
okay,
like,
so he gets a better service. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Because that was my number one complaint. Like, there's certain theme songs in the Dabbleverse that are actually pretty damn good. I like them, and I went back to go listen to them, and it sounds like I can't explain it any other way that I know how. It's like sounds like its bit rate is super low. It's like 96K bit rate.
Right.
Where an average
cool,
MP3 is
sense.
at least 3 times that. So it just real tinny, like a lot of weird artifacts in the sound. I was like, why is this happening? And then I went and made some songs on my own. I was like, oh, it's because I'm cheap.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Talking about cheap. Hello, Schmuel.
Some of that stuff seems to be, Mr. Blue Sky said it, pattern recognition. Like it's like AI knows, oh, this is what's going to resonate with people. And like I found myself at Hackamania, I was sitting by myself at one point, and had Ghost Party playing in my head.
I got one worse than all you guys. Well, go ahead, finish. I'm sorry, I didn't mean
No,
to
and
interrupt.
then I'm like, I'm listening to it, and I start listening to the words to it, which is not something I would normally do in that kind. And I'm
That's
like,
what makes it creepy.
I'm like, what? And then there's another one. Oh, the two girls, the two sisters, or whatever they are, the twins.
Yes,
The
I know
girls
which one
one
you're
cup.
talking
Yeah.
That to me that's AI written, right? That's like everything is rhyme, everything goes together, and it's very simplistic, but it has a nice rhythm to it.
That's the thing. Like the AI knows you better than you. It knows you better than you. It knows what's catchy. It knows how to get a hook into your ear. This is what pop music has been all about for the last 80 years, is trying to get you to listen to this. And you could tell it's AI. I think he put in some keywords, maybe. I think he put in subject matter to write around. I think he had some, like a stanza or a phrase, 4 lines, this, and then it built the rest.
So that's
really,
where it
honestly,
kind of gets to.
I was going to say the lyrics come off as word salad to me. It's saying a whole bunch of shit without saying anything meaningful. As we fly through the sky, riding stardust and shit and blah, 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 and blah. We're gonna win. Okay, great. What does that really mean? Stop and think. Does that have any depth to it? Or is it all just surface level rah-rah?
But that is most of the music we listen to that isn't AI as well, to be fair to it. So.
A lot. But yeah, I agree.
New stuff. Not like the old stuff.
You can still feel it. You can tell when somebody's really writing something versus something that's being generated. AI likes to use specific word sets. No, yeah, they're just two blondes.
Two blondes.
With short hair and small boobs for once. It's weird.
I don't remember their boobs being small, but then again,
smaller than compared to the other ones.
Compared to the other.
Not to put it that way.
The other child. And they are pretty childish. Now let me ask you a question, Sperg, because you'll know this better than me. The stuff that he's put out, like the Ghost Party and those
Do
AI,
you believe in borderlines?
But is that stuff that he's?
Yes, I do.
Is that stuff that he's worked on, like is this old stuff? Is he like throwing at us stuff that he's done before and he's going to have issues creating new stuff? Or is this stuff new?
That's what
Great hits, right?
I know. I'm pretty sure some of it is old stuff. On his Twitter, he has a banner that has a comic book that him and a friend created. I don't know how old that is, and I don't he says he does all this stuff, but we don't know any of his actual work. Like he has done dialogue for things, for like comic books and stuff and storyboards. He says he's done all that. I went the band route early on. That was my creativity. It was music. I play guitar a little bit, very little bit. I'm not, it didn't pan out. So that was like my dream. Okay, guess what? I'm not a rock star. So I had to deal with that at like 22. I feel like he's at 41. Now he's rehashing some of his 22-year-old stuff. He's in that mindset because he's been working the last 20 years. It's like what they say about people who go to prison. If you end up in prison when you're 20 and you get out when you're 40, you're still 20 because you didn't learn shit that whole time. So I think he was working to pay off his house trailer thing that he was talking about, and neglected social relationships, like picking up chicks and trying to start a family. He's 40, single, no kids. I'm 40, single, no kids. I'm not trying to have kids. I think he's kind of regretting it and going through some sort of crisis, reconciling where he's at in his life versus where he thought he would be at in his life at this point. He's doing better than most, hands down.
Honestly, yeah, the amount of people are giving him shit, and I kind of go, wait, like I always have it's a really low bar, but when you kind of think about certain people in the dabbleverse, you're like, one of them lives in the basement, one of them lives in like a 1-bed apartment. There's not a lot of people doing great, there's
right.
KB's doing absolutely fine, yeah, for sure. As much as people hate it, Shuli's probably doing okay. Rocco obviously doing great. Cardiff seems like he's doing absolutely fine. But in the grand scheme of things, people are amazed when they're like, okay, so you don't live in like a 1-bed flat, with nothing else. It's like, no, I don't. And it's like, oh. And he's like, yeah, I own my house. It's like, okay, he's unemployed at the moment, but he had a job as well for 20 years. And they're like, oh, he's cashing in his 401k, but also he has a 401k or whatever the fuck it's called. And he's been
he had it to
20 years or whatever. Yeah.
So, that's what I mean.
But having a 401k, and I don't mean to interrupt, but having a 401k and there being money in the 401k are two completely different things, right?
Yes.
So
no, it's just a little example in regards to it. Yeah.
You never know what people. You never know what kind of money that people have in the 401k, right? Like I've seen some of these, and some of them, they work 20 years, they've got a couple of $1 million in there, and then I've seen other people, same income level, and they've got 20,000,
70K. Yeah, right.
we don't know because it depends upon what their contributions are. But we do have our one and only super tip. Speaking of where people live, $3 from our American Cupcake. One of us lives above a bar, and
Skull.
And that's where our boy Cupcake lives, and streams from it often. Thank you. Cupcake.
I live in a bar.
Oh, there you go. Well, better.
I can't remember who said that. Somebody said it looks like I'm in a closed bar during the daytime. Okay.
You should have a billiards table behind you.
It does. I'd probably like to have something like that, but I don't think my wife would permit it. So,
see, that's why I live alone. I don't. I permit anything.
But so the guy says he's worked for the corporation for 20 years. He worked corporations for 20 years, and he's out of the corporate mindset. And the corporations did this to him, and the bad relationships he's had with people, I don't know. It seems counterintuitive to me, right? Like the guy lives in the middle of nowhere. What kind of corporation is it? Like, what kind of job was it? How much did he have? Like, what kind of relationship? Like, what was his relationship? Like, what were the contacts with different people? And I guess last night he said it was his brother-in-law.
That's right.
Yeah, that was
traveling on to the big YouTube stream in the sky that that really caused him to like start drinking again and all of that stuff. So I don't know what's real and what's imagined. You know, it just seems like to me there's a very much victim mentality to it, and
I think we're all being a little bit harsh as well, though. Like, I know people don't like to enable people, and they don't like kind of saying, "Oh, you can't bully an adult" and all that stuff. But it just seems like maybe he's going through a midlife crisis. Maybe he's going through quite a bad stage in his life, and for some reason, no, he's way better than Josie. And for some reason, he's broadcasting it to everyone. Maybe because he's lonely. That might be it.
But that's
well.
what.
Maybe
that's where
he's
we're.
lonely. Yeah,
that's where we're heading towards, because he did say something that kind of irked me today. He on MLC. I guess Joey showed off his new house. I guess he's renting out a house now or something.
What?
Which I haven't.
Joey's got
I haven't
a
seen
house?
this video. I don't know. Wait, he could be referring to Joey C's apartment above the thing. I don't know. He made it sound like Joey is living in the ghetto, blah blah blah, or something. I don't know if he knows something that I don't know. Because I can't catch everything. So I don't know if Joey moved or not, because I heard he was going to be out of that place because the guy sold a lot or whatever, or if not, then I skip that. But anywho, he was like talking about how he doesn't live in the ghetto like Joey and blah blah blah, because he saw Joey's apartment and it's cluttered and a mess. Just like every other, you can go into any one of these houses on my street and it's going to be cluttered and a mess, because that's what, it's just how some people are. I live in the city. I live alone pretty much in the city. My family lives literally across the street, which is, I say I live alone, but they're right, I can look out my window and see my entire family, immediate family. But I'll never be lonely. I could just walk around and run into people. You know, I can go sit downtown and people watch and maybe meet and make a friend. He doesn't have that ear close to him to steer him away from turning on the camera. He doesn't have somebody to slap some sense into him before he cries on camera in front of people. Like, hey, dude, you're fantasizing about things, because he's alone a lot. So there's probably a lot of theater of the mind going on when he's not streaming. Well, Pat Dixon's probably going to be doing this. And then he catches a clip of Pat Dixon, you know, psychoanalyzing him. And he's like, motherfucking Pat. Now he has to go back to it, because now it's a tete-a-tete or whatever.
And Pat psychoanalyzes everybody, right? And Pat makes fun of everyone. And I've been subject, and Pat and I are friends, and yet I've been subject to Pat's making fun of me because of something that I did that was funny. And he's a comedian, and that's what he's going to do. But I also think he may be sensitive because of all the stuff that's happened over the last few years. So I haven't talked to him about it, but it seems to me he seems a little confused about why this guy turned on him, right? And the other part of this was I thought he said he'd been sober for a long time, and then he just started drinking again. And
I think you said Sperg 4 years, or have I just picked that number from nowhere?
I don't know what his break was in between, but he said specifically he wasn't doing anything while working, and that when he started drinking just again recently, it's making him think about his brother-in-law, because he's got nieces that are there, a single mom. You know, he has to help with that, I'm sure he chooses to help with that because it's your family. You got to. If anything at all, that's who you have, and he keeps going on about one man versus the world and nobody cares about him. Somebody said it in chat earlier. He's hurt. Somebody hurt him. And he's not reconciling it. He's taking it out on Dixon. He's taking it out on Doug. He's taking it out on Taz. He's using that energy to get into this dabbleverse and make a few waves, and he has eyes on him. But he won't be happy in the long run, in long term, I think.
So you guys both watch Pat Dixon, to some degree, and he was a regular in Pat's chat, essentially. Like, okay, so what I think happens a lot of the time as well, some people kind of believe they're like friends with the people, and some people are, but with the other people on the screen. But when that relationship kind of like changes and you try to kind of force yourself into that world as well, and you don't immediately become the fourth member of the team or whatever. I think that must be quite hard for him to kind of go, oh, okay, so now they hate me as well. And it's like, no, just like you're not necessarily on the show.
Isn't that the classic parasocial thing, right? You're super chatting people, you're sending them money, and you think because you're doing that, they're your friend. And then you get upset when they're not.
That is true to everyone that donates to me, by the way, though. That is true. You are my actual friend, so don't let him make you think otherwise.
You can be, but it's going to depend upon how much.
I love you, pineapple.
Your super tip. But yeah, and just this, he's been through, just the guy says he's been through so much, and it's a lot of woe is me, but I don't have any details. Like, I don't know what you've been through, and it sounds to me like you've been through what we've all been through, but for you it's a crisis, and for us it's a daily event, you know?
That's what my biggest problem was. He's crying about losing his job. He's crying about being rejected by some people around him. He gave Kevin Brennan $100 post losing his job. He said this on stream. I gave Kevin $100 and that should mean something. It came out of the last little bit of money. Kevin Brennan doesn't know that's the last little bit of your money. Just he's $100 from a dude who likes him. Right. It's $100. Thanks, dude. I'll read your chat. Bye. That's it. It's a transaction. This is a business. If money's involved, it's a business. It's not a friendship. And that's what he was getting very parasocial about that. He donated a lot to Pat to play songs. And that probably has even a stronger emotional connection. Because now he's playing something Karmic wants to hear and make him feel better. There is something deep-seated that is messing him up. And it could be related to his stepbrother, doing all of that. It could be related to things in his childhood. But like Schmuel just pointed out, all that comes across is surface level, woe is me, I'm living the toughest life and nobody knows better. He went to the school of hard knocks all by himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, how did that happen? I was literally, busing was still a thing when I was going to grade school. And if you live in America, in a big city, if you were being bused, that means they took poor white kids and Puerto Rican kids out of that neighborhood and bust them to the black neighborhood, and took poor black kids out of their neighborhood and bust them to the white and Puerto Rican neighborhoods. And it didn't go well for anybody. It didn't work out. It wasn't all we were holding hands and dancing. It didn't work. And so, there was a lot of stuff early on, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade that I was going through that I know he's never experienced. When I just mentioned, I was like in my 20s, and I was like realizing I'm getting tired of playing shows for my friends and my friends' girlfriends. These gigs aren't paying out. I'm not that great. I can't keep up. So I went to school. Got a 2-year degree. I was in IT till 2009. And then I got downsized. So then I was working at a gas station from 2009 to 2013. Then I started being a pastry chef. I got lucky. I got into a kitchen. This guy trained me. I am a literal 2nd generation trained Culinary Institute pastry chef. I'm not as good as I should be anymore, but that has been paying my bills for the last 5 years. Well, up until eggs were $5 a dozen. Then I kind of, now it's time for me to get a real job. There's a record store down the street. They're hiring. I'll go sell records all day. I don't care. That's what I want to do. I'm not going to ask you guys. I can't live my life hoping that one of you guys super chats me $5. And if that super chat's an insult, that's my pay for the day. I can't handle that, because that's usually what things degenerate down to if you're not doing a good show.
Bring up a really good point here, Sperg, which is he's getting the super chats.
Yes.
A lot of the stuff that I've seen are designed like, you need to drink more. I
don't like that. I really
do this.
I said the opposite.
Do that, right? You did, but you were sort of the lone voice among those people, and so it's like, is this almost Stuttering John-ish, where they're you have a problem, and these people, you see the guy on the bridge, right? That's going to jump off the bridge, and instead of trying to get the guy down, you're like, jump. That's what it feels like with a lot of people with him, is they want him to jump, right? nothing would make them happier than watching him self-destruct. Give us a few months, and then do something crazy that's you permanently self-destruct on screen, and I get to see that, and I'm a part of it. And so
there is a level of troll that I don't like to participate in. There are people who are like actively trying to groom a school shooter or something. That's the only way I can put it. You know what I mean, though? Like,
right.
it was that way with Chris Chan, which is old lolcow stuff. But there were people who were literally screwing with this guy's life, and now he thinks he's a trans woman. I think he was goaded into thinking he was a trans woman, and that's not healthy. That's what I was saying. Like, he's cultivating an unhealthy audience by being sensational and starting shit with people or running his mouth about. He has no idea who Melton was before any of this, and he was talking about how soft Melton is. I've been watching that fool this is my third classic summer with that stupid onion, and I know his history because of words he uses. He's kitchen too. He says, who the hell knows what a ramekin is or a microplane? Or, he likes, like, that's one of his hobbies. So like Karmic, you see that and you go, oh, I respect him a little bit. I don't think he's my friend at all. You know what I mean? He's harder to tweet. Good, cool. We're all right. That's enough. That's the most interaction we'll ever have to have. Maybe I call in and talk shit. Who cares?
Yeah, I just read this opinion. Apparently, Karmic stopped drinking overnight. Karmic seems capable of self-control and self-reflection. Zero comparison with John. And on the drinking thing,
he was drinking today, just to clarify. But yeah,
I don't know about him, but as a person who's in the program, guys stopping drinking for a period of time, a short period of time, is nothing new. People are capable of doing that all the time, and I watched his behavior, and I feel like there may be other things. There may be, as we would like to say, dry goods involved to keep him in the mood. Mersh has stopped drinking for 40 days or something, and he's very proud of himself for doing that. But he's loaded to the gills with kratom and pot and everything else. So the difference between that and but Mersh is telling us, so that's the reason why we know it. But there's not a lot of difference between the drinking Mersh and this Mersh, because they're all fucked up. So I don't know. And is the drinking is that like self-medication for this guy? And if you're coming on YouTube for therapy, man, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah, this is not the place to reach out. I mean, you can, but
you'll get a lot of people who act like they're trying to help you out, but at the same time, they just want you to self-destruct.
See, and that's what I mean. He set himself up for that, though. He now can't trust anybody in his chat because he grew too fast, too quick. Like, now he doesn't know. And there's people showing up he don't know, and they're being nice to him, and he has to trust them. Joey C is not very book smart, and he'll tell you that. But he is street smart, and he can get from point A to point B if he had to. Karmic is very naive, but he's tech savvy. So he's not picking up on, like, Taz always said loved you, and I just put it like loved you. I just said I love you, Pineapple. You're not going to take it anything personal except a dude. Yeah, okay, yeah, I love you too.
We're getting married,
right? Whatever. Yeah, right. But but like he made it sound like he missed that social cue, and that she was being very overtly friendly to him when she was treating everybody like that. So that's one of the things that makes me wonder: is this a bit? Is it a planned? Let's do this so I can get bigger. Yeah, I know. I'm good. It's my commanding officer.
I guess what you're asking is he naive, or is it intentional? And it's hard to tell.
It's quite a vague comment as well, though, to say, is he like naive? Is this intentional? It's like, what? Is everything intentional? Is he naive about everything? It's like, no, he's going into something and he's going with what works or what he thinks works or what he hopes will work for the long term. So there's a lot of stuff where he's just streaming and talking and chatting and interacting. He's not specifically going on, right, hour 2, let's talk about the Onion for a bit. Oh, hour 3, let's shout at Corporate Carl, the best fucking nickname ever. It's such a non-insult for someone who worked in a corporate world as well. He's like, oh yeah, Corporate Carl. It's like, yeah. What,
yeah, but it makes him sound like
I do well.
Corporate Carl sounds like, a bit of a goose stepper. I like
yeah,
it.
on KOA. Yeah.
There is a lot of repetition. He goes back to the same well a lot with like, you don't know what happened to me, and well, you're not telling me. I do want to make it clear. I think he's talented enough, because if you can go on stream and you can talk for 4 hours, no matter what it is, and you can keep people interested, that's a talent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether you like it or not, it's a talent. Aaron Imholt, he
don't hold my interest.
He right, but he does hold enough people's interest. He's got the ability to talk and speak, and so that's the stuff he can do. And what's his name makes a really good.
Disagree.
He's trying to come after me here, but in a joking way. Schmuel sounded like Levy, laughing my ass off. But like, you watch, Bob has, as much of a comedian as he is and as much of a career as he has a lot of difficulty entertaining people for a long period of time on stream. He becomes very boring very quickly, and you're just like, oh, okay, it's the same shit. And with Karmic, he's interesting. I mean, he's on those 5-hour streams. I go away and I come back and I'm like, he's still going, and I can pick up my interest right there. So,
with Karmic though, he's very much one of those kind of guys. We all know at least one person who will just talk to you forever. For me, it's my stepdad, yeah, and he will just talk at you for hours. If you don't stop him, he will talk to you the entire night. And that's Karmic. And it's so bizarre that that's Karmic, because the one thing we kind of pointed out several times is he seems to have certain social issues, where maybe he's not fully kind of developed with certain things like that. But
how quickly do you
get to you forever?
But how quickly do you get bored of your stepdad? Right?
I tell him within 5 minutes. I'm like, that's enough now, Neil. Thank you. And just walk away.
and what I'm saying about Karmic is Karmic can go on for hours, and he maintains people's interest. When you go into that chat, it's not new people all the time. He's not turning over that chat every half an hour, 40 minutes. It's the same people, so they're listening.
There is a difference, Schmuel, to voluntarily listening in on someone and choosing to interact with someone than having someone talking for 5 hours next to you. I don't care how fascinating Karmic is. If he was talking like that next to me the entire time, I would lose my head. I would leave. I would not be there the entire time. It's the fact you can pop in and out, you can pause, you can mute, you can skip, you can do whatever with that. That's why it's so good in that scenario. In that environment, he's great. At work, you probably hate him because he won't shut up.
Yeah. If this guy was next to me in line at the factory, I would be like, oh, fuck. And
all day, every day.
This is, but I think Chow makes a point here, right? His flow and pacing are great, and nice and slow, but it's a roller coaster. It is a roller coaster.
That's the thing. He's figuring that out. He is. He takes his breaks. He does have good pacing, but like Schmuel said, he does it for 4 hours a day, 4 in the morning and 2 at night now. And I got a point about that here in a second. But he's gonna run out of shit to talk about. He's new. We are finding out about him. In February 2026, he's talking about his stepbrother again, or brother-in-law again, and crying about it again. 6 months from now, we're going to be bored with it, and he's not going to be making any super chats, so the sympathy will be gone.
That was the question I was asking earlier about the AI music and the other stuff. So is this all the shit that he's just had pent up as far as his emotions go? Is the artwork and music, is that all stuff he's had in the can forever? And then in a month from now or 2 months from now, there's no new music, and we're listening to the brother-in-law stories over and over again. That's my question.
Yeah, but like you said, you'll leave for an hour and a half and come back and be able to pick it right back up. And Eckel said the same thing. I throw him on, he's on over there while I'm doing other things. This is exactly why he's going to be able to have staying power. I think he should directly compete with Aaron Imholt, steal that dude's audience because they are getting sick of him. They are tired of Aaron Imholt and his dumb shenanigans. He's been going back to that same well of Nick Rekieta for the past, since January. Right? Yeah, April of last year, everything went down. So it's been over a year for all of that. We're done. You know, everybody's where they're at. Toe's trying to hang on. He's over. Joey C could come back and still be a part of the dabbleverse.
No one
John
would give a fuck, though, Joey. Stay away.
Joey's
my boy.
Joey's a different, but Joey is different. I think Karmic is. I get the feeling of Karmic is he's real. Like what he's doing. The question about going after other people. I mean, is there some motivation behind what he's doing? I understand that, but I think that like Karmic is what we're seeing on screen is really who this guy is, as opposed to Joey. I think Joey is trying to make himself into
trying
something.
to pick what it is
he wants to figure
people,
out what it is you want from him, and then he's trying to go there. So it's like it's backwards.
So ironically, earlier, Schmuel, I wanted to call you out for something, but you've actually done and turned on it. So you were saying about Joey C and Steel Toe and Karmic all kind of being like the same kind of thing. And I disagree massively because I think most people with Steel Toe would say, I need a filter to watch it through. If it's through Nobody Likes Onions or, you know, even just watching it once a week on like This Little Piggy. With Joey C, everyone says, oh, that Echo and Roachy, they're brilliant. Pint, double pint, 2:00 Eastern every Sunday. That's what they all say. They need it through a filter. And like even people who watch Stuttering John would watch TSN because they can't watch it without it being through something else. Whereas Karmic, it's the opposite. I don't really enjoy. I said to Roach, I don't really want to cover him too much because he's great, but I just enjoy watching it. I don't necessarily want to kind of hear myself talking about it, ironically, as I talk about it.
I do want to clarify that I was not, the Joey C comparison is this an act? Is he putting stuff on? I was not comparing. Aaron Imholt is a separate animal completely. And if Karmic went up against Aaron and Melton stopped covering him for a week or two, Aaron would be working at the local car dealership by the beginning 100%. Of July.
100%. That's why they want him, because like, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, buddy, but that's what Karmic's for. He goes on the radio. He can say things. He plays music in between. He talks shit. He comes back and takes a breath. You know, right? It's like it's closer to an actual morning radio show than Aaron Manhole has put on. And I agree, Schmuel, you're right. It's the other way around. Joey's trying to please the crowd and give them what they want, so they give him money. Karmic wants to put himself out there, and hopefully the money approves who he thinks he is. This is me, who I am as an artist and a creative, and the amount of money is going to be what my value is. You know, if I'm making 100 super tip a day, great. If I'm not, I'm going to be depressed. I know you say you disagree, Echo, but there is a base framework for all of these guys, including Karmic, myself probably. Well, I know I don't want to get too into it, but there's a base framework for a lot of it. And I think some of it stems from lack of direction or lack of motivation. Like Karmic doesn't have the direction, and Joey C doesn't have the motivation. You know, but it's Karmic. There are similars, but it's different.
Is Karmic capable of getting someone to help him with?
Like
Joey wouldn't listen to any, Joey will not listen to anybody. And what I think about Karmic is, he seems intelligent enough that if he got somebody to help guide him along.
Karmic needs to get very lucky. He needs to find the right one or two people who genuinely really enjoy his stuff, are really into the same kind of things, and want to kind of help produce. And I'm sure the difference with him than Joey is he'd kind of go, cool, and once I'm getting money in, you know, I can kind of start splitting it with you guys and maybe give you like 20% or whatever. And if they're like, oh, cool, brilliant. Definitely you could. The problem is, like Spergy said earlier, is you go in that chat and it's fucking bizarre. It's really difficult, just like watching how many different people, different angles, different trolls they're trying to work on him, and then you're seeing the mods that he has and you're like, oh god, okay, some of them like you kind of know, a lot of them you're kind of like, how does he even know these people? But okay, they're all of a sudden a mod, and you're like, are these the people you're kind of trusting? Like, fine, like whatever, have everyone as your mod if you want, that's fine, doesn't really matter. But are you actually also trusting these people? Because they really don't give a fuck if you like sink or swim. They're doing it for their own amusement. So
there was already an issue with that too. There was somebody was a rogue banner and silencer, and
yeah, I was a victim. God damn it, I was a victim of that.
And I also think one night he was drinking and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna mod all the chicks," and just went ahead and started modding everybody with a woman's name.
Yep, and MGD.
I haven't modded anybody.
Well done, Schmuel.
But here's all right. So you take
End tower in chat.
with the chat that's trying to go after Karmic, right? And compare that to Joey C. So if you come on and you say something about Joey C, he takes it personally. He goes nuts. He thinks this is crazy. And Karmic, on the other hand, like if you want to talk to me, if you want to say something to me, you can super tip me, and and I'll talk to you. And they super tip him, and he doesn't seem to get like fake upset like Joey would. So it doesn't feel like Joey. I don't know. I'm not the best at expressing it.
They are different levels, Schmuel. They genuinely are different levels. And I know that seems mad, yeah, because Joey at his best was getting 80 to 100 people. I know Karmic's been getting like at his best, like I think he got like 150 maybe. He's doing really, really well. Like no word of lie, he's doing fucking brilliant. But they're not the same. They are definitely not the same. And as a brilliant example, what you say, Joey will go on the stream and he go, yeah, you wanna troll me? Well, you can send me money on Super Tip if you're like really creative. And people go, nope. No one gives me money. And Karmic goes, you can send me a message if you like. You can do it anonymous if you like. You can put it with your name if you like. It's up to you. And you're like, oh, all right then. Well, maybe I will.
I also think with Joey, like you said, he's a different beast. He's a completely different personality, and we all know giving Joey $5 is really pissing away $5. Giving Karmic $5, it's going to go into a bank account. Now, when he super chats Kevin Brennan $30 in a day, he's just recycling other people's money now. You know, so it's really, I don't know, man. The dabbleverse is a very like circle jerkish.
Absolutely, but that's what you say, like. You see that, right? So you'll see like we'll super tip one guy and then that guy will super tip that money to somebody else. It's like an MLM, you know, you tell 10 friends and I'll tell 10 friends and, you know, we'll all be selling Amway knocking on your door, you know.
Can I at least get the Mary Kay pink Cadillac? But
at the same time, right, some of these guys have bought their way into the dabbleverse. And I'm thinking of one clipper in particular who heavily super chatted Kevin Brennan, and Kevin really got into it, and the guy sort of got popular, but he backed it up with his work. His work was excellent. And so you can say he bought his way in. I would say that he just sped his way up in. And the question that I ask is like with
who the fuck are you talking about?
Is he buying himself? I think Karmic.
I hate it when you do this. Just say their name. They're not going to be offended if you say their name. No, fucking hell. I messaged him earlier. He goes, "Oh, I really want to talk to you about that tweet you sent out about Karmic." I went, "Which one?" He didn't fucking tell me. It's not. It doesn't have to be a mystery. Just if it's a certain clipper, say their name. It's fine. You don't say anything bad about them.
Here's the thing. I'll absolve Schmuel. If I had to guess, I think it's MLI. Right?
There you go.
Misery Loves Clips.
It's actually,
or MLC.
We've talked about it. It's Stallion.
My Lost Interest. Oh, yeah. Okay.
and
I'm good friends with him. It's all right.
And that came up.
Big fan, Stallion.
Right.
I'm not like.
I am too. And that
like
came
Schmuel
up because Stallion was super chatting Kevin. His stuff was getting popular, and people were like, "Oh, he's just buying his way in." They were saying that in chat, and I was like, "I don't care how you get in," but he backed it up with work. It wasn't like he wasn't super chatting Kevin Brennan for Kevin to retweet or to prop up shit. It was really good stuff, and so he's backed it up. But that was an accusation against him when he first came in, and Karmic may be doing something similar. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly that. He is sensationalizing his way into the dabbleverse. Is he going to be able to hold the audience? And again, is he going to be able to hold that audience? Because MLC fans are tenacious, man. They're very opinionated, and they tell you exactly what the hell's going on. That's like, and there's other people from other avenues. Like there are Melton fans in there, and Melton people don't really like MLC or Shuli fans. Some of those people are really unhinged. Melton fans are too. There are some, hi Michaela, I see you out there.
Put the gun away.
I'm sorry, I didn't really mean that. I was just fucking with her. I like her. But like, so they're all arguing with each other in chat, and all of them are still kind of taking jabs at Karmic. There's like a united front in that way, but it's completely uncoordinated. So yeah, he got the eyes on him. Is he going to hold the audience, and are they going to stay with him? That's the biggest question. He's got talent. He could talk for the 4 hours. But when he runs out of subject matter, that's January is going to be a hard month, in my opinion. I know that's ways and ways away, but he needs to start squirreling now for that time, because not everybody's going to always be around.
Yeah. I do think we got to give him a bit of credit, though, because with regards to the kind of people that he's getting the attention of, I've seen loads of people kind of say, oh, yeah, the Brennan bump. You're like, no, like, yes, he's definitely got the Brennan bump in terms of like a lot of the fans did follow him over, which is great, and they're very supportive. They're very loyal MLC fans, very, very loyal. But in regards to like, give your co-host a shout out, for example, Dave Sarah. Yeah, he got like the bump in terms of when he kind of like got the followers that he needed, and then faked his way with the view hours. But then he got like a little bump of like 20 people watching him, like 25 people watching him, and then it goes back down to like 10 or whatever, but it gave him a bit of a bump. This is not the same. This is not the same whatsoever. He's benefited from that, sure, but he's also benefited from the Nobody Likes Onion bump as well. He's also benefited from fucking corporate coal bump from WATP, steel toe bump. Yeah, everyone's kind of like, what is going on? Let's give him an eye. And he's such a unique thing in terms of, yes, he's very pro MLC, and he's like, that's the only show I'm going to go on. But also, he's super tipping. He's got super tips with Nobody Likes Onions. And it's like, oh, yes, they're coexisting somehow at this moment. So it's interesting.
Part of that, when it comes to my co-host Dave, Dave lacks Dave lacks consistency, right? So he gets the bump, he's there for 5 minutes, and then he kind of checks out for a couple of weeks, and then he comes back and
gets another bump.
Whereas, Karmic is backed up. Yes, I know, right? Karmic is backed up. Like Karmic has gone, he's taken the bump and he's ridden it, as opposed to these other guys that think, oh, I got the Brennan bump. Everything. Now I'm set.
To counter that point, though, so did BYB, and so did Stevie Lou, and so did Ray DeVito, Chad Zumock.
Yep.
Again, these guys got to be able to hold those people, and sometimes they do. Chad gets 100, 120, Ray, I'm not sure, sub 100, I would say.
60, 90, yeah. Right. Honest to God, where he's at compared to everyone else who's got the bump, it's disingenuous to say that it's just an MLC bump. That's doing him a disservice, because like you say, the only person who could benefit from that, I guess, is Chad, right? Who's doing better, or like numbers wise or whatever, is doing better. And he's also a comedian, right? And he's been in the dabbleverse for ages, and he's had a lot of involvement with lots of other shows. So he's an established character, but everyone else
and can take a punch.
Yeah,
Mm.
but what I'm saying about the bump echo is it's one thing to get it. It's another thing to do something with it. And
Yes,
these
yes.
guys,
I don't think it's enough. I don't think that's enough. I don't think he's not just done so well with the bump that the MLC bump has got him to 120 to 150 people.
No, but if the
That's doing him
I
a
guess what I'm saying
disservice.
is, let's say MLC gives you a bump of 20, right? So you
Mhm.
get the MLC bump of 20, you get 20 people in watching, and then you're doing something that makes them want to tell their other, their friends, or hey, they're
Yes.
talking about it, and then you build on that. So the Brennan bump by itself, we're saying Brennan bump, whatever the bump is useless unless you're able to do something with it.
Sure.
That's what I mean.
What I was trying to say with that though, Schmuel, is that it wasn't just a Brennan bump. That's why he's such a different creature, is because he got the no. I'm repeating myself, but you didn't hear me, I guess. He got the nobody likes onion bump. He got the steel toe bump. He got the WATP bump as well. So obviously the MLC one's the one we all talk about and know about. But he also, oh, never mind.
You're
Jesus.
on. You go ahead. I have to put up a super tip, and it's
Jesus Christ. No, you show some appreciation, Starry. Thank you, Starry.
Starry. First time listening live. Thanks, Schmuel. Snake. Thank you, Starry. Go ahead, Echo. I'm sorry.
It's absolutely.
I'm a boomer, and I've got it all messed up here. How did we do this before? There we go.
There's one thing I do on my show is stop the flow of it to say thank you for money, so don't worry. But yes, all I'm saying is Brennan bump is a real thing, and you're absolutely right. He did well to kind of keep going with it. I'm just saying I feel like he's also got multiple different bumps from different shows and has done well with them as well. Because like Sperg said, we're in the chat a lot, and it's everyone. It's a hot pot of everyone in that chat.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I was using the Brennan bump as a generic term, right? So he's gotten the bump. A lot of people get a bump, right? But they can't do anything with it, whether it's Melton, whether it's Brennan, whether it's all of them at the same time. This guy seems to have been able to turn that into something positive. Whereas I think other people get it, and look at all the people that Melton's covered over the years. And they really, Michael Ray Bauer, right? Michael Ray Bauer gets the bump from Melton, and he doesn't do anything with it. He fights it, right?
Yes. That kind of brings me back to my earlier point. I think Michael Ray Bauer's scared of Melton fans. I think he thinks that he's already paranoid. They're disingenuous. They're just here to troll me because of the first impression that Bauer got. And it happened with Karmic. Melton talked about Karmic, and the next Karmic stream, there was 50 people in there. That was the first one. It wasn't even MLC, in my opinion. It was that.
Yeah.
Him running his mouth about Melton got Fearless in there. But I'm sorry, I shouldn't really. But we all know who hangs out and watches NLO. He's got a good, solid core of people. And if we find a guy, I say we, like I'm all part of it, I kind of am. If there's a guy around, I'm going to go screw with him because guess what? That's my hobby. This is my hobby. Go ahead and tell me to go, like, oh, you need to go get a hobby. Yeah, I'm doing it, stupid. It's your job, actually. It's my hobby.
Right. But for all we've said about Karmic, he doesn't take it personally in the same way that Michael Ray Bauer does, right? Like Michael Ray Bauer gets hurt. I mean, he gets hurt because people are trolling him. And Karmic doesn't. Karmic seems to know, at least to some degree, that, hey, I'm being trolled, and let me turn these trolls into some money,
Unfortunately.
Yes. And see here, like...
That's the one thing I would say, Karmic, if you ever watch this or ever talk to me. Stop crying so much, man. Like I get it. Just play your music and kind of go like wash your face and come back. Don't make them let you cry and stream. It's all right. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, but is he crying on? But is he crying on stream because of the alcohol, right? Like your brain gets fucked up.
I'd assume mostly alcohol. Yeah,
you get overly sensitive, but it's not like. It doesn't appear to me that Karmic is turning off the camera and then going and sitting in the corner and crying about it. Whereas I think with like a guy like Michael Ray Bauer, it's like he can't get it out of his head. You know,
Like a lot of alone time.
right.
You know, I went through when I first went through a divorce. Right after that, after everything was settled and I was all by myself, that's when I got really angry. Like it was all said and done. I wasn't angry during it. I wasn't angry before it. I was angry well after the fact. So, you know, I think that also plays a part with him. He lost his job. He borrowed against his 401k, took care of the bills. So that way he is good. You know, he's not going anywhere. I know a lot of people, especially with certain other morning YouTubers, they like to think that we're out to get them and get them off the internet or blah, blah. No, we just want to make your day a little more difficult because it makes us feel better on our own. You know, a little text here or there that you read and you go, fuck you. It's like, I got a chuckle. Let me go get my coffee. You know, it's not a coordinated. It's not like any of that. And I think Karmic does handle that much better than most people. You know, he is getting some jabs thrown at him. I intended to send him a music video to make him cry again on stream because I was so irritated. So I was going to literally, I would have super chatted him, hey, play this song. You're not monetized. You'll like it. And it was a song about I screwed things up with people. I just want to get back to being myself. Because when he's drinking, he's not himself. He's an exaggerated caricature of himself. You know, and this is my fear. I was watching him 4 months ago, just being a regular dude playing video games, and now he's a show host. He's going to have a confliction at some point. Do they like me for me, or do they just like the act that I'm putting on for the camera? I got to be entertaining. Do they like that, or do they like? Because when he was being himself, 3 months he was streaming. We can look at his channel. All those are sitting at 100 views or less. This last one, where those purple thumbnails start showing up, 1,000 views plus. 10 times what he was doing 4 months ago.
Do you know who did the AI image that Karmic uses? It was Echo Pineapple.
It wasn't now.
Yeah, he said I sent him a picture with it, and he went, "Oh, cool." And then he went, "Oh, I really like that. I've used it on all of my thumbnails." I was like, "Yeah, knock yourself out, pal. Go for it. Enjoy." Oh, Schmuel, you look very dark over there.
Yeah, I apologize. My light went
No, it's
out.
great. You look a lot better. It's brilliant.
And yeah, I know. I'm not the most attractive person on here. And that's part of it too, right? Like I constantly get trolled about my looks, my age, the fact that I look like a 60-year-old embryo head.
Joe Biden.
Is Joe Biden. But it does, I don't care, right? Like I don't know any of you people beyond what's going on. So it's like, and this is what the internet is, right? Much of it is just trolling. So I don't take it personally. I don't go home at night whining about that I look like the way that I look or I sound the way that I sound. I enjoy it. Like, and with Karmic, I want this guy to be successful. You know, I want him to be around in a year from now with a show.
It's a flip of a coin.
A lot
at this point, I think. Honestly, it's a 50-50. He will get wise to a certain few people. He will maybe get lucky and kind of like build some good friendships with other people. And that will be the way it will go. If he keeps drinking more, I feel like a hypocrite because I'm like, it's a bit early to be drinking, mate. Are you really sure you want to go have a drink? And then I'm like, that's nearly as bad as saying have a drink. You know, do what you want. If you really want to drink, knock yourself out. Yeah, he has opinion. You're right. Mm-hmm.
Well, see, that's the thing. Has he come a long way, or did he just change what he was doing to get eyeballs on him? You know what I mean?
But is there anything wrong with that?
He, you know, like he didn't know what he wanted to do. Was he going to be like a typical Twitch streamer who just sits and plays games all day? That wasn't paying the bills, so he had to adapt. You know, and then.
Taz, this is great.
Telling everybody else, Taz.
Have a good one, gang. Love Chew, not that way. From now on, because Taz says that to everybody, right? So from now on, she's going to have to go, love Chew, not that way.
I'll further break Karmic's heart. She drew me first before she drew him. Ha, 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 ha.
Like one of her French girls. It was brilliant.
I have a picture that Taz drew of me.
Yeah, exactly.
More than a year and a half ago. So.
Oh, you got me
Sorry
beat.
about this. Sorry about this, Karmic. I didn't realize it's
But,
going to be a bragging competition about who got pictures drawn first.
That's right. And you guys keep calling it a bump. The bump can turn into a wave. The bump can be a plateau, and then you bump, and you can plateau and bump. So it can go up, and then it can come back down for him. And I don't really think he's going to have an audience. People like him. He's a likable guy.
Yeah.
As long as he's not being a shithead. So. I like him when he's not being a shithead. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, when he's drinking heavily, doing shots, then he starts, fuck this and fuck that, and blah, 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 blah. And like, dude, I already have enough angst. I don't need to hear yours too.
So
you know, I want to hear.
He starts streaming, I think, about 3 o'clock where I am, so like 8 a.m. or whatever Eastern. And honestly, I tend to, I finish work at 5, so I catch like a good solid 2 hours off him most days. And that's normally he doesn't drink. I think today was the first time I saw him start drinking. And I always enjoy him. And people are like, oh, but he's this. And I see the clips and he's like off his head. And I'm like, oh, God. But I enjoy what I see before. And I know like people like different things, but there is an audience out there for not crazy Karmic as well, just to say it.
Right. Fair enough.
And there's not a lot on opposite him, right? At that time of the day. He's on in the morning. You know, there's morning show. There's really nothing else going on.
Steel toe, that's it. He can really get away with.
The only advice I think he should do, like you said, Sperg, 100%, is go up against Steel toe, because mate, you're gonna dominate, and that's where I think you're gonna get your numbers. Yeah, and also people love him and not hitting the goal, and they might find it funny for you to kind of get a bit more than he gets. So. Just in general, it might be a good move, and it doesn't hurt anyway. It's not like you're doing anything else. So.
Well, but you want him to do that for us, right? Like that's what you'd like to see. You'd like to see him.
Well, I
around Steel toe. We don't know that that's even something he cares about.
Listen, no, I only mean in time slot. I don't necessarily mean he needs to go on at the same time as Steel toe and shit talk Steel toe. I mean. Karmic can go on at the same time as Steel toe and be Karmic, and they will leave Steel toe to come see this because it's just that much better.
Yes,
I like. And they'll give them money. They're happy to give money. They want to give their money away. There's, there's the chat. There's chatters that want to help. There's actually good people around here, and it makes me fucking uncomfortable.
For sure, but I think I'm like maybe in a minority, but. I'm absolutely fine with him doing whatever he wants. So if he kind of wants to go up against Steel, if he wants to go on Steel toe, brilliant. Do whatever you like. But personally, my advice is I think that's a good time slot for you. I think, yes, it might selfishly help a lot of people like that. You're right, Schmuel. But for me, I don't give a fuck. I never watch Steel toe. I try to watch the clips that our good friend Stallion19 does, just so I can keep up to date with it for United States of Australia, Toe in the Line, all that shit. But I don't really care. I just think it would be a good spot for him, good time slot, because he's not going up against MLC or any of that shit. And people want something to watch, and they don't want Steel toe.
It's a good time for me because I'm working at that time, and I usually I listen to these shows. I rarely watch them, so and I can find them entertaining. You know, I don't know if that would be the case every day, but it's certainly better than what's available now.
Especially for our taste. I mean, we like. Face it. I know we make fun of Opie, we make fun of Ant, we make fun of Stern, and all these guys for being shock jocks. But we still like that. We still want a little bit of edge to the morning show. We still want a little bit of, a good subject matter to hear while we're working. I want to be able to be semi-distracted so I'm not so miserable having to fill out invoices or whatever I'm doing that day. Or, in my case, baking 96 fucking carrot cakes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what made work so much better, is that there was something going on in the room other than work. And Karmic can do that.
That's how I got into NLO. NLO was doing the mornings, and I started. And let's remember, like, wasn't NLO on against TSN? Didn't they have a morning show?
Melton deliberately was sniping Steel toe. It was Melton in the mornings.
Right, but
And then
didn't the Shuli
Oh.
didn't they have a show at the same time?
The
And
BS
it was
show.
right,
that's
and
right.
then
I was just
Melton
gonna say it with
became,
Mom.
and you were listening to that because it was on, and then you started, if you heard about this NLO guy, then you started listening to the NLO guy, and it wasn't anti TSN. It was just this was so much more interesting. And
I deliberately have avoided watching Nobody Likes Onion because I know I would watch it and I'm like, I don't have 4 to 5 hours a day, like as much as I kind of watch Karmic. But I know with Melton, I would actively watch it, and I can't do that. I need to be working. I need to have something that I can mute at a moment's second, and you can't do that with Melton, so I just don't watch it.
Yeah, and that's when Karmic was going after him. That's what bothered me, because Karmic's never in his chat, never seen a show, doesn't know anything about the guy, doesn't know how many times Onion's been through a rebrand, not a rebrand, but like old logo gone. This is the new format. This is how I'm doing it now. He doesn't have co-hosts on anymore. He has Moody in every now and again, but he constantly had a guest. He always had people in there, and he helped a lot of people that we now have a lot of esteem for. And he doesn't even get real credit for that. I don't think Bill Burr would be as popular as he was if it wasn't for Melton. Dead serious.
God, that is a big shout. Jesus.
see, I have no recollection of Melton and Bill Burr together,
But
at all.
Melton got him doing Mondays. Like, he got him building that podcast,
Oh,
which
did he
in
really?
turn
Yeah,
helped
I had
him
no
build
idea
his
that was the
audience. I'm pretty sure, I might be talking out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure Melton helped Bill Burr, Mark Maron, and a few other people get their shit together, and they blew up. And Melton's still being him, and he's not bitter, he's not upset about it. He did what he did, and he's proud of himself internally, I think. I know what that feels like. I've done things that I'm like, I stood back and I was like, holy shit, I did a thing. And whether you made $1 million on it or not, it's an internal self-fulfillment, self-satisfaction. And that's another thing I think Karmic is kind of lacking in. He doesn't have a self-validation, and he's reaching out for it. That's what I'm worried about. He's building an audience.
I think that's why he likes
fake validate him and then punch him in his face.
I think that's why he likes his music and like the videos and what have you, because I think that kind of gives him a little bit of that. And honestly, like, I know it kind of sounded like we was shitting on it earlier, where you're like, oh, it's very like immature and it's like AI and blah blah blah. But
That's
I
just my
enjoy
opinion.
his songs. I like his songs, and also there's one thing he does which sets him apart from a lot of different people in this dabbleverse. Is every so often he will kind of be like, well, I'm just going to play a song for a bit and not turn his camera off and just start dancing and enjoying it and having fun. And I'm like, yeah, all right, knock yourself out, because I cannot, as you can fucking tell, I can't sit for 5 seconds in silence, whereas he can just be like, no, cool, I'm just gonna bop my head along to this tune, and that's something good. I like that. Yeah.
Well, and I'll be honest, that's one of my favorite parts. Like, he got ripped on because he's dancing in a chair, and yeah, of course, every man who dances looks gay. Sorry, I don't care who you are, unless you're Christopher Walken. You dancing in a chair, but he's, like you said, he's feeling himself at that point, and that helps us as a viewer. That's a positive vibe coming right out of your screen and into your soul.
For sure.
We need that, and that's
Eva.
we were talking about AI songs.
Let me just get to this chat there.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Some people, this is such a good point. Some people don't see this. Some people do not see this supposed to be entertainment. This isn't real. There's always elements of work. And she's 100% right. And I often say that, like, when people don't like Shuli because they like Melton, or they don't, or they get into these, like, the wars, and they're wars that are going on in their head,
Right.
And these guys are just trying to be entertaining. And there's 51 million channels, and if you don't like it, you just go find something else. So for a lot of guys, this is more about them than it is about the people that are performing, or the creators themselves.
Like, in my case, I like to chat, and people will read my chats. Sam Bibley's an excellent chatter. They always read his chats. You kind of get to, if you have a good relationship with the host of the show as a chatter, you get to play in that dynamic too. You can say something and then they'll react to it for 5-10 minutes. And that's something that stretches the time out, and it makes 4-hour shows seem a lot less. And it keeps us engaged. That's why I told him he could fix his relationship with Pat and Taz if he wanted to. It's up to Pat and Taz to forgive him for bullshit right now. But he has to show he's sincere. Was he really doing that for sincerity's sake? I don't know. Pat don't know. Taz don't know. Only he knows. Did he do this so he can, make a big, get the bump and keep the bump going? Or did he do all of this? Is it a work and for entertainment? That's what he says. But then he tells us about his brother. Then he tells us about how he lost his job. Then he tells us how he feels about the world. That's real. So stop blurring that line. If it's a work, be the character. Be Andrew Dice Gay and let us know that it's not affecting you as hard as you think it is. But when I say you can repair a relationship and you start crying like a little baby on camera and have to hit the cut button, that's not a work. I don't know. Is it? To me, it ain't. I wouldn't embarrass myself on camera like that I wouldn't show that emotion to embarrass. You know what I mean? I couldn't do that. Work or no.
But so Sperg, I listen to that and I say, oh, this Sperg guy cares, right? I mean, that's what may separate you from other chatters. Like, you seem to care you care about him. Not necessarily over the top, but you're like, yeah, you can repair this relationship. Like, you are giving sort of good advice to him about this stuff, as opposed to the ones that are like, fuck Pat Dixon, or dig your hole deeper. Get the crown will make you feel better. So there's different people are here for different stuff. And I often say, like, sometimes I don't like people because I can't tell the difference between where the character ends and the person begins. And that makes it hard for me to enjoy their show, because I want to believe that they're being honest with me. Even if it is a character, I want to believe that they're being honest with me, because I'm becoming invested in it. Sometimes a little too much. But you're asking me to invest in you, so I want to know you're not just fucking around with me.
Right. I think what we're all missing here, though, is we're all kind of like pointing out, I don't really like it when he does this. I don't really like it when he does that. And what we're realizing is that, that's true. But there's like, I don't know, 300 plus people who watch him on rotation, maybe 400 plus people watch him on rotation, who all have their own different opinions, all their different things as well. So it is quite hard when we're kind of having this chat here and we're like, we kind of agree with what we're saying. There's a little bit of an echo chamber here. Sperg's a little bit firm with some things. I'm probably a bit more of a just fanboy with him, to be honest. And I don't think Schmuel even knows who Karmic is. But with regards to Karmic, like, honestly, he's just going to do what he does, yeah? And unless he comes to one of us specifically and goes, I need your advice, then I guess we can get a bit annoyed if he kind of like does opposite. But I'm just looking forward to the next month, because if he does rinse and repeat, I hate this person, I hate it, and I'm drinking, or I'm not drinking, then yeah, it's going to get old quick. If he doesn't, and if maybe there's like, maybe he goes on a couple different shows, like maybe not every show, but like a couple of different shows, that might be quite interesting as well. So yeah.
Well, that's isn't that the question that we sort of started with, which is this a flash in the pan, and is he getting it all out? Is all the stuff that was in the chamber, he shoots and it's done, or is he going to be able to continue? And I think we've all agreed that he's talented, and then the question is, what does he do with that talent, and where does it go?
Here's what's really going to kill it is if he does get complacent. If he does start making plenty of money, if he's fine, then he won't feel like working. It's a natural thing. If you got 10K in the bank just waiting for you, you might call off next Thursday. Take a day for yourself. Why not? I got 10K. No worries. I can afford to. So that's what I'm worried about. In another direction, is he going to run out of? Is he going to go through his entire youth catalog? And then maybe a little bit as an adult, and then it's going to peter off. That's why I'm saying January is going to be hard, man. I'm lucky. Eccles sent me junk food. I got content for another month.
For sure. So this is a really weird side tangent, but I promise it's relevant. Have either of you watched the latest series of Black Mirror?
Yes, I have seen Black Mirror many times.
Right.
Well, the first two
Okay.
seasons for sure.
I have not
So
seen
this
it
is
lately.
that's fine. So it's very reminiscent of one of the episodes where the Chris O'Dowd chap and the Parks and Rec lady. And Chris O'Dowd, little spoiler alert, he keeps doing stuff online, which is embarrassing him, but he's getting paid for it. And he's doing worse and worse stuff as it goes to get more and more money. And that's the one thing I'm really worried about. And I think that's why I'm overly kind of like a bit of a wet lettuce with stuff where I'm kind of like, don't drink at 8 a.m., mate. You don't need to like, oh, it's 10 a.m. You don't need to grab that cider. You're fine. Even though it's none of my business. But I think that's why, because I'm like, there is a chance that he kind of goes, well, I can't keep this up forever. I'm just going to have to get drunk every stream and hope good stuff happens and hope I get paid, because that is a possibility, right? And I think that would be very, very sad if that's what happens in the next month.
That was what I was trying to warn him of early on, and he told me to fuck off, and so I never talked to him again, except leaving public comments. I don't think this is, Karmic is doing this and this and this, and then his actions show that, and that, and he would get annoyed by those things. It's like, yeah, dude, but this is what you're setting yourself up for. You're burning the candle at both ends with gasoline on it. It's not gonna, like you said, it'll be a flash in the pan. The wave will subside. He'll still have 10 to 15 people who shoot him $50 to $100 a stream. It'll be good for him, but I don't know if that's gonna be enough for him to be happy with. Somebody's like, 10K, how poor are you? Yeah, I'm very poor, but guess what? I got plenty of disposable income and lots of free time. So that's all that I need to make me happy. That's what I think Karmic has a problem with. He doesn't know, he knows what he doesn't like, and he isn't sure of what he does like. So he's not very confident in what he's putting out. That's what is the AI, he is going to be a crutch for his creativity later on? I don't know. He said he had 500 AI songs, but 80% of them are trash.
It's interesting. I don't know. The guy is interesting. I didn't know. I thought he'd only been streaming for about a month. I had no idea he'd been doing this.
That's my point. When he was being himself, when he wasn't doing shit to get attention, when he was just being normal Karmic, nobody gave a fuck. And that's going to be a hard reality later on, because like you just said, Chris O'Dowd, great actor, by the way, he's mad for crack. You have to, you set a bar, and you have to keep raising the bar. My bar is in the basement. I can step over it anytime I want. I'm not going to do that, because you're setting expectation for your audience. When people watch MLC, they expect a certain thing, so they're going to expect it from Karmic. When people watch Melton, they expect a certain thing, they're going to expect it from Karmic. When people watch Steel Toe, they're going to expect it from Karmic. So he's got to either truly be himself or play the character and keep himself together while he does it. It's very hard. I can't. I got to be me.
Yeah. It is very fascinating, though, seeing people like, obviously, first of all, for me, it was like Joey C. And after that, it's definitely Karmic in terms of like the kind of views that they get. And it's quite sobering as well, because I remember I saw a Joey C stream where he had like 100, don't tell him this, but he had like 110 people watching, and it wasn't one of the ones where he bought views for either. And I remember thinking, realistically, I'm probably never going to hit 100 live views. Like, honestly, I don't think that would happen for me. And I'm like, that's okay. Schmuel, same. Like, that's never really going to happen for you. I don't think that's the kind of numbers that we would get. You know what I mean? I don't think that's ever really going to be 100 plus isn't in our future. And that's absolutely fine. But with, it is very interesting to kind of see with Karmic how much more bigger he could get. Because like you were saying, the first week of the month that we saw him, he was getting 30 people regularly. And I was like, that's really good, like off the bat. And then 50. And I'm like, that's really good as well. And then 70, 90. And like this week it's been in the hundreds. And you're like, that's really interesting. Really interesting to see if it goes into the 200s. Because if it does, then this conversation in a month is going to be actually a lot more interesting if we have a second one. Because what will he do? What will happen? Who is going to get involved? Who's going to try to fuck with him? Who's going to try to mess with him? So yeah.
He also got very lucky that he hit right around the time of Hackamania.
Timing.
Right?
Yeah.
And Joey's gone. John's gone. There's room. There is room for all of this.
Yeah. For sure.
And I'm doing better than Ray DeVito, by the way.
There were a few people. There were a few people at
Ray lives in his car.
and sort of influential people in the dabbleverse at Hackamania who were very interested in Karmic. And so there was a lot of talk about him. And so and then these are the people that, because they're influential, the other people are going to say, oh, let me take a look at him. And so he got a decent bump from there. And Moody actually seems to like him. Like he liked him and he wanted to get
I like him. I think he's likable.
Yeah, I think he's very likable.
I wonder what it is, because the foreigners do seem to like Karmic.
I think it's because most of the shows that we have seem somewhat mean-spirited. Even like WATP, definitely TSN, even though it comes under the guise of, oh, we're the good guys and we're going to review the bad guys kind of thing. It is very much kind of like, all right, yeah, obviously you're like shitting on these people as well. And with Karmic, maybe he's just not at that point yet. And he definitely has those bits where he's like yelling at the screen and kind of getting really, but most of the time he's, oh, well, like, it's okay, really. And, actually, Melton, I'm sure he's fine. I've not actually got it. And you're like, okay, cool.
See, that was the thing. He deliberately answered one of this. I was in his chat and I was like, dude, you are on Super Tips quick. You were just MFing this dude up and down the internet. And now you're on Super Tips. And he's like, yeah, well, Sperg, I need the money. Why don't you go blow people under the bridge if you need money? Like he was setting up how he has all this integrity and loyalty, and then undid it all by doing that. So that was like strike one for me. Like, okay, this guy is going to say some things and then do other things as long as it's beneficial for him.
I do think though that Moody,
and he thinks he's doing something right because he has the eyes. Somebody in chat said, people like a car crash. I deliberately said that to him. He's like, I'm doing something right. He tweeted it out. And it's like, people love a house fire. They do. I've watched houses burn down around my neighborhoods. There's 100 people out there going, wow. So don't
hit the like button.
Right.
That's the Joey C thing though, right? Like people love a train wreck. They love a house fire. They were watching it, but you can't burn the same house down every day. So will it continue, right, is always the question. I do want to say, though, on the Super Tips thing, Moody really did. I don't know how he explained it to him. I don't know what their communication was. But there's a lot of differentiation between Patrick and Super Tip when you get into it, right? Like Patrick's sort of the spokesman and he gets out there. But when you start really looking at the money and how it's run, disliking Patrick is not a reason to not do Super Tip.
Right. No, I understand that. And he put himself in a position where he needed to make money. He wanted to do that. But it's like me saying, PayPal's a shitty corporation and I'll never work for a corporation, but you can donate to me at, blah, 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 PayPal. Whatever. Like you can't motherfuck out of one mouth and then, cause he could have went to Streamlabs. He could have went anywhere else other than Super Tip. That wasn't his only avenue. It was the only one that was ready, available, and it got offered to him. So it was, he couldn't think his way out of his own trouble until Melton handed him a stick. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't cry about how the world's being shit to you when you're not doing anything actively to not make your world shit.
I do find it fun, though, the guys complaining about Melton and Super Tip and what a shit he is or whatever. But they're perfectly willing to give money to Google that could shut them off at any minute. They get a wild hair that morning, yes, you're done. They could just wipe away your earnings, and it blows me away because the comparisons are, look, if something happens, I can always call Melton or Moody and I can talk to them, right? Good luck trying to call YouTube.
Right. No, and that's another thing. YouTube has zero customer service. That's also, like, in my conspiratorial mind, why they only have like 10,000 people working at YouTube. What the is going on there? But yeah, fair. You're right. I mean, I would take Super Tips right now if he said it, but I couldn't do that QR code thing. I don't know about that. Is there a stipulation that you guys got to do or something?
No, it's just recommended.
No one uses the QR code, by the way.
And no one uses the QR code.
because
Yeah, that's
everyone's on their phone, so they can't scan it with their phone. I do want to just say, as we've spoke about Pat Dixon on this show, and we're talking about super tips. Pat, if you ever see this by any chance, thanks, you fucking idiot. You're the one who's made everyone been like, super tips is just doxing non-stop because of your stupid fucking comments. So well done, mate. Nice one.
It
good
was
work. Appreciate it.
it was definitely a reputation. Like it was a dent. It's definitely a dent, but hopefully a lot of people, and I'll say it too, it's strike. It's not super tip.
1,000,000%. Yeah, 1,000,000% is, but yeah.
Anytime you swipe your credit card or buy something online, you are giving that information. You're fine giving it to an anonymous corp who sells it off and makes money. But you're going to worry about people. You know, you're giving money to people you're supposedly trusting. You know, unless you're sending them mean trolly comments and you don't want them to know. Then
there is a reason. There is a reason I never super tip Joey C. Just saying. I know he's
Sam
very
V.
stupid, but yeah.
My brother in Sperg, Sam V. He's like he says the same thing. He's like, dude, I can't do certain things because I don't want these people to know where I'm at. And he's right, because sometimes a fan is a bit unhinged and they'll do something in somebody else's name. I do everything I like, and that's what bothered. That was another thing that bothered me. He's like, "Oh, it's Pat Dixon's minion." I'm like, "No, dude, I liked you, and you turned into a shithead, so I'm gonna fuck with you." And so that's it, Karmic, right there. I'm not a minion for anybody. I just like having fun on the internet. This is my. I was fucking with Joey. I was with Honk and messing with Joey C. Mike's shitty internet hates my guts, or did, and now we're all right, at least a little bit. You know. So I think Karmic could ride this out. Again, like with the plan, if he plans out content and just puts his own shit out against Steel Toe, they'll leave him. And they'll come see Karmic. He's got a good heart. He's a good dude at heart, I should say. I don't know what I don't think he knows what he's doing, Schmuel. I really don't think he knows what he's doing. He's just flipping on the camera, and maybe he'll drink today, maybe he won't. He's going to play. He's got 3 songs in the chamber that he keeps. That's why they're so damn catchy. He keeps playing them too. On top of the science of music, man. You guys, we're all being tricked by it. And if you guys, anybody in the chat is probably not familiar, but there's a guy that's around, was on the Schmuel Network. His name is Bobby Fran. He does an afternoon show from noon to 3, and he does 2 segments at the ends of his show. One of them is bricked up for the dudes, and he shows off all these bikini chicks, real, like throughout the internet that he finds, nice booba girls. And then he does one for the ladies, and it's called Juicy Man Meat. And the way it is said, it's so fucking catchy. It's in my head a lot. It's like, Juicy Man Meat. And I'm walking around the house. I'm tearing my ears off because that's what's stuck in my head. I'm already effeminate enough. I don't need any extra help whatsoever, especially from a shitty AI song that just is earworming its way into my Swiss cheese brain. I hate it.
Look,
but like I can tell AI from non-AI. It's like,
but AI, look, AI knows more about you than you know about yourself, right?
Exactly.
With this stuff, so it knows what's going to make you ghost porn, So yeah. I
think
hope
Schmuel thinks that you type in "make this catchy" and it goes, "Got ya, no problem."
Yeah.
No, I was actually arguing. There are people that think that, and my point is that if you're a musician and you know music, then AI is just another tool in your arsenal. If you know how to do it.
I would be interested in an actual breakdown from Karmic if he ever does it himself, if he ever wants to, in terms of content. Yeah. I use AI as a tool, but what I actually do, I write all the songs. I have all of the, I don't know anything about music, like the stanzas, the chorus, and then I put what kind of music I want at certain bits. Like I want this kind of instrument. Like he might literally do all of that, and it's so trivialized because me and Schmuel, all we really know about is type in pint, double pint, double pint, and then say stuff about Joey C, enter. You know what I mean? And that's in our head, that's what AI music is. But you can use it very extensively, I'd assume.
Well, see, here's the thing. I know he's an artist, a sketch artist. Like he can draw pictures. Those booba girls that he has, I'm pretty sure to some degree are sketches of his. The main one, the Borderlines girl with the long black hair and the big booba.
I know the one. I know the one.
That's one.
Don't you worry.
That's his character. That is his character. I think the name is Crystal. He'll correct me, hopefully. He drew that, and I think he scanned his images and then took those and put them in AI and said, clean this shit up for me and make it like this. And that's what we got. Like you were mentioning, and this is a great idea for him. Show us how you do that. That makes us a part that's bringing us in.
Especially if you do a lot more than what we assume you do. Break it down.
Well, and that's another
because
thing.
Everyone just goes, yeah, you just type it in and that's what you've done and it's easy. And you might be like,
especially,
right, well, that's what he saves until January, right? Like you don't want, you don't want to
blow your
spit.
load just yet.
If you've got something that's working, which is what he's doing now, and it's working, you do more work for the future. So when that starts to fall off, you have 2 or 3 things you can try to be, to add to it or to rebuild it. And I think that's what happens with the smartest thing I ever heard Opie say from Opie and Anthony is, you've got all these great stories and you come on the air and what do you do the next week? And that's I think in the dabbleverse, I think I shouldn't say dabbleverse, but streamers in general, I think a lot of them come on and they don't really have a plan. They don't know what they're going to do in a week or a month, and they don't think about it. They don't say, well, this seemed to be working, or this is what I like doing. And you can get addicted even to small amounts of super chats or super tips. You can get addicted to that money. I've watched these guys do it, where they're getting $50, $60 a week, and that becomes important to them.
I do it for the chat mostly, and I don't plan too far ahead, but I only stream 1 day a week on my channel, and then like this, I'll make an appearance here or there. I'm on with Dylan every other Wednesday. Luigi Greenberg has been kind enough to have me on, so I'm not like, my plan is just to kind of have a chill spot for people to come hang out. I'm not looking to it. It's supposed to be a break from the dabbleverse in a way, while still being able to say, hey, did you see such and such? And I can respond in kind, because we're all in the same. It's more of a passive coverage than like this is, actively taking a minutia look into the mind that is Karmic X. I mean, you guys are right. Wildly entertaining. I have a lot of confidence for him. Compared to some of these people who are out here trying to do it, Stevie Lou isn't as entertaining as
No,
and that's another thing Karmic isn't grasping, is he's guilty by association. By being on MLC, he is in the Ray DeVito crowd, Chad Zumach crowd, Stevie Lou crowd. Clearwater Chad was just on. Liam was on. Felicia Gillespie. I don't necessarily think that this is the company I would keep as a streamer. I just don't. It's maybe Stevie Lou because he likes movies and he is into music. I can work with that, but. Everybody else is just there to kind of, so blah, 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 blah. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And then crack a joke at your expense. Ha, 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 ha. And then Kevin goes, well, what do you mean? And then, and then he takes a picture of Borgo.
But very few of Kevin's co-hosts, I can't think of any actually, have capitalized on being Kevin's co-host. And
Kill Everything.
The guarantee is that he's going to hate you in 6 or 8 months anyway, right? And there's a certain amount, like I with the Ray DeVito, I'm like, I'm just trying to smooth things over. Don't you value your dignity at all? Like that's my, and that was the stutter. That was my stutter and John thing. Is it's like, I'm taking all these chats and I'm making money, but at what price dignity? That's I wonder, that for me, I wonder about that. And but Sperg,
I definitely fall into the one sec. I definitely fall into the trap with the MLC thing of kind of saying, "Oh, like I wouldn't want to go on, like not that I'd ever be invited, but I wouldn't want to go on MLC. I couldn't have someone like kind of like constantly talking down to me or kind of like being a cunt towards me at my expense. I've maybe too fragile an ego, but also I kind of think, but there are other people who are fine with that. Like I don't think people like Ray and maybe Karmic are the right kind of people for that, but there's definitely some who are fine with it, like Chad and what have you. Like even Bob, to an extent, could just roll off their back, you know, and just crack on with it. So I think it's very easy to kind of go, oh yeah, no, shouldn't be on the MLC stuff or be friends with the MLC people, what have you. But he's got a brilliant audience, a very loyal audience, a very generous audience as well. And you know, it's stupid having these clicks anyways, really, but the
generous audience seems generous to Kevin, right? Not the other people. And then you have to listen to
because they don't deserve it.
And then you have to listen to Kevin going, why did you go on that show? Why are you doing this for free?
Yeah, that's bullshit. Yeah,
and you know, it's the one thing with Dave Saras, because he said shit about him being on with me, and Dave is just like, I'm just going to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And it ends. But to go back to back to Ray DeVito for a second, because it's so interesting.
Oh, no.
That's
kind of neat.
I know, but that's sort of the thing is like, I think if Ray had somebody that could guide him and he would listen to them, he would be much better off today than where he was.
Ray's the complete opposite kind of person, Schmuel. You said earlier about Karmic. You said, could Karmic find the right person who could? And Karmic is a big fat yes, I think, on that. I think you could find the right people for Karmic and he could do very fucking well, like more than what he's doing now. Ray, no. Doesn't matter if you had fucking Rocco and Cardiff fucking holding his hand. At some point, he will fuck it up. At some point, he will go, no, I know better, and fuck it up. He's the wrong kind of person for that. Karmic is not. So yeah, I don't think so. I know you like Ray, and I'm sure he's likable, but he's the wrong person.
No, I'm not. I agree with you. My question about Karmic is Karmic the kind of guy that will let somebody in to help him?
Yes.
Or is he going to be a Ray guy and go, no? You know,
nope. He definitely would accept it. I think he just needs to get the right people.
You gotta convince him that he respects you. I think with Karmic, like he isn't gonna just take advice from some Yahoo or you know. I know he's a little smarter than that. He's definitely got at least two people for sure. One needs to be able to help field his personal life, and the other one needs to push him creatively. I'm talking shit out of my ass because I really don't put any effort into anything. But as somebody who likes and enjoys a lot of this, you know, and not just dabbleverse, but there's like angry video game nerd drama. There's Donkey Kong. There was a guy that he won a lawsuit against another guy who should have won that lawsuit in the bank, but it was presented in a poor way. So this guy got sued by the King of Kong, Billy Mitchell, and we all thought it was for cheating at Donkey Kong because the guy kept saying, Billy Mitchell's a cheater. But really, I missed it because he edited the video. He was like, Billy Mitchell caused this guy to commit suicide because he sued him and took him to court, and that's liable. And so you can get into, there's so much internet drama, also and this guy can grow here. Right, yeah. Right. Well, yes, but see, and that's the thing. You think the Australian lawyer for the Australian defendant would have been able to win that case? It was just, Billy. He's like, no, dude, you made me sound like what I did directly contributed to a self deletion, and that's not okay. Right. Even though it probably could have, you just can't say it definitively. The Carl Jobst guy was definitively like, I'm not even speculating here. You know, like basically like saying it. And Karmic is Karmic he'll be fine. I just worry that he is going to get influenced by the wrong people.
I want to start heading towards wrapping this up, but
yes, sir.
But something you said, Sperg, about your show and what you're doing. You're not a guy who traded in his 401k and needs to make money off this. right?
True.
And so we're really comparing apples to oranges. Like I do this for fun. If I could make enough money to recover my expenses, I'd be happy. But, you know, Karmic is what, 40, 41 years old, and he needs to make a living. And that's the question is like, can you turn this into a living? Guys like Melton and Carl, the guys that I've seen that have been successful and actually sort of formed this into a money-making operation, don't just do this, right?
Right.
They do other things as well to add to it. And like you talk about Melton, developing Super Tip and other stuff that he's done. He's a creative guy. Carl has really expanded the whole WATP universe. So that's the question. Like I think that Karmic is I think Karmic could make money off this, and I think he could make it for quite a while. But I don't see YouTube as something that's a long-term moneymaker.
No.
I think I've mentioned it before, kind of sort of tongue-in-cheek, sarcastically. It's like if you're about the age of 35 and you're putting all your eggs in the YouTube basket, you're making a lot of poor life choices.
Right.
But see, that's the thing. I know Karmic's not stupid. I know he's not stupid. He's sitting on a nice cushion. It's going to keep him afloat for a while until this picks up more. He can probably get away with making, $60, $80, $100 a day, because that's going to just keep rolling over. As long as he's not running up an $1,100 electric bill, he doesn't need fiber optic. He's not paying for children. He's not.
And he's not going out anywhere, is he? Let's be honest.
That's where this is leading to, because I've been that guy. I've worked and slept and worked and slept, and I've had untold amount of disposable income, and it's doesn't bring happiness. It don't matter. I literally rolled out of bed and walked 1 block over to work every day, making some of the most money I ever made, but I wasn't happy. And now that I'm like in between, I'm like kind of, I got a lot of free time, and it took me down a lot. I was on Clown Town. I went through some anxiety issues, and I may have ADHD according to doctors, but which I do. The Iron Brew distracted me. I wanted to talk to you about coffee, milk, and what we put in it, and I just totally lost my train. But and it just happened again. But we all go through these things, and he's a smarter guy. He's not broke. He's got his money. If January is super slow and he gets through this January coming up, paying his property taxes, paying whatever else is a yearly expense, health insurance, whatever. Probably don't, house insurance. I don't know if he carries those things. Those are what's going to be breaking him. Aaron Imholt set himself up for failure by getting a house payment, car payment, trying to be a cool guy. He spends his money on golf and football games, and he ain't broke either, but he ain't living as happy as he wants to be.
What's quite reassuring about Karmic as well, in terms of, if people are actually worrying about him or not. He's already talking about, well, I'm going to have to be keeping money aside for like my taxes and what have you, because I'm going to be like self-employed. And you're like, all right, okay, like that's already a million times more advanced than Joey ever got with like regards to it. So.
Or anybody on that level, yeah, for sure. Stuttering John don't pay taxes. There's no way.
No, that's what he's got. Luckily he's got a mother for that, but God,
dude.
But look, a big difference, just my view, between Karmic is talented. He thinks he's talented. He thinks he's got something to offer, but he doesn't seem to be a narcissist, right? Whereas Imholt thinks that we're lucky to have him. And I think Karmic probably appreciates the money that's coming in, whereas Aaron thinks he's owed that money.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I've seen Karmic be very gracious.
Even if Karmic doesn't keep doing it, he's done it at least 5 times that I've seen, where he's kind of gone, I appreciate you guys being here, you listening, and not just kind of like, oh, nice one for dropping in, hit the like button, see you later guys, have a good night, like I do. He was genuinely been like, I appreciate it, it's really good of you, like it's amazing that you all, and I'm like, people like that. And we were saying that about his dancing earlier as well. You get good vibes from that, and that's something that I get from him enough for me to look over the other things that you might not like about him. So I'm Team Karmic. That's why I'm cutting back on how much I'm reviewing it on my Sunday show. So Joey C, still don't come back though. It's fine. We'll find someone else.
I'm Team Karmic as well. I
there.
just, I have mixed feelings because I'm friends so much with Pat, right? So
Don't have to choose sides. You don't
And
have
I
to
can't-
choose sides. It's fine.
no, I don't have to choose sides. I didn't get a phone
can
call
have
from
two
Pat
Christmases.
Dixon
You can have two
saying, and I didn't
Christmases.
have to check with Pat before we did this show.
Oh, thank God.
But at the same time, I'm like, I like them both. I wish they could settle the differences because I think they'd be better off together than they are apart. And I also think Pat is very talented, and he's a great writer, and he knows how to put things together. And he's helped me quite a bit with things. So it's like I feel like you're cutting off somebody that can actually help you moving forward.
I
don't think
agree
Brennan
with
is
that.
that guy.
That's what the problem, because Brennan isn't a road forward. That's not. It's not. We all know it's not. Dixon is wildly talented. I think he's a decent piano player, but it's like when you're watching a stream, he makes excellent jokes, just in passing, depending on the subject at hand. I am Team Karmic. I have to say it. I think I am, because I've been watching this. I'm invested. I'm invested.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think I've seen too much of the real him, so that when I see anything that comes off as insincere, that's like you were mentioning with the super chat, he's very sincere when he says that. I definitely go out of my way to make sure that my chat knows that I'm very happy that they're there. I know that's why I don't want it to get too big. I know all the names. I don't want to start seeing too many strangers in there, because then I'm gonna lose my affinity with that.
Adam, call this episode Karmic's Cucks. Thank you. There you go. Perfect.
No,
But
we're definitely.
no, he has a lot to offer. I just hope he can squeeze the juice out of it. He's got something inside of him that needs to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully he does it. It's how he presents it to us moving forward is whether he's going to be successful or not. If he continues to drink and yell because that's the only way he can get his thoughts out, which he said a few times, not going to be great. If he's able to use AI, like Schmuel said, as a tool, as a creative tool, as an avenue to start producing real stuff from his own arsenal, his own canon, his own creative realm, we'll be there for it. We want to see shit like that. John's not creative, and that's why we are clowning him all day. People who clown John are 10 times more creative than him. Same with Joey. Joey's just trying to be something for everyone. It ain't going to happen unless you're confident in who you are.
One of the things,
and that's what Carmen has. He definitely has some self-confidence.
I'm just meeting you here for the first time tonight, Sperg, but one of the things that I liked about Eckel when I first started talking back and forth with him is that, no, you're a guy, like, you want to see other people succeed, right? This isn't a zero-sum game. I don't think I'm up because somebody else is down. And that's one of the things that the John and Joeys have of the world. Like, they think they're in a fist fight, and they're playing King of the Hill. Brennan, Brennan as well. Brennan's a little different because he's had a career, and so it's not the same, right? Like, nobody's wondering what Kevin's going to be doing in 10 years, right? Like, where is that going to go? Is he going to? He's just going to continue doing what he does, and he's doubled down on the hate. He's doubled down on the anger, and he doesn't care. He doesn't care what you think. Like, I don't do clips, and then his show becomes all about clips. I'm not going to have these losers on, but yet every night is a new loser. So he just doesn't care. As long as Brennan, it feels to me like he's there because the super tips are there. Yep. A lot of people would be, if they weren't getting the super tips, they wouldn't be doing a show. I shouldn't say it here. If he didn't have super tips, he wouldn't be doing a show. If he wasn't making money doing this, he wouldn't.
He doesn't have super tips. It does
Well,
annoy me that
super
everyone calls
chat
super
or-
chats super tips. Really, I know they're very similar.
yeah,
But
super tips is
KB all
its
the
own
time calls
entity.
it super tips. Yeah.
We'll just say source of income.
Yeah, you're right, and because that's what I think made Brennan burn Compound, and then eventually get rid of Levy. He saw how much money was pouring in, and so then he cut out a third of his expense. Goodbye, Levy. And he cut out another chunk of expense. Goodbye, Adam. And now he gives these yahoos $100 for 2 hours work.
Not
that's not bad to him.
guarantee you're not.
If he
100,
gives that to them. And
No, Brennan has specifically said, "I'll pay you what you're worth," which in some cases is probably nothing.
25,
Didn't he
50,
give that? Did
but he
he
also
give that bitch 25%? He said 25% of his show. Whitney Cummings' sister. Apparently, he gave her 25%. Yeah.
But he also does use the
$120.
money. He does use the money against these guys. Like he will say, come on and I'll pay you, and then it's like you do the show, and then you find out, oh, it's not until the what do you call it? It's not until the 21st of the following month that I'm going to give you the money, and then you're afraid. You don't ever want to say anything about him because they don't do to you what he did to Levy, which is not pay you for money that he owed you. So
just don't do the show. If that money's that important to you, don't do the show. I think would be my advice, because it's just not worth it, really.
But it feels like the people he
$50.
has on, that money is important to them.
I mean, and to your point, Schmuel, those guys have an attitude that I got to get mine before you get yours, and that's not the case, dude. This world is big enough that everybody can sit down and eat. I promise you. There's plenty of room. It's not going to be as fast as you want it to be. You just take your time, man. Things take time to build, and it only takes 2 seconds to wreck it.
Exactly.
So just strong foundation, and that's where I'm worried about Karmic. This isn't necessarily the strongest foundation. It was quick. It's a lot, and it's working. But is it a castle on sand? I don't know.
Yeah, and we'll find out.
Out of it.
Go ahead.
Go on.
I want to make
gonna
this.
say
Go. I'm going to say this. I'm going.
Motherfucker.
Opinion. Schmuel KB was doing MLC for years before he got super chats, but he was always paid for those. It wasn't like
Didn't that Jew help him do super chats as well? That Jew Shuley that no one likes. Didn't he actually help KB sort it out?
Yeah.
Speaking of something like that. Yeah, no, but like, didn't KB get Dixon a YouTube channel and help them get monetized, only to turn around and burn it down anyway? So be careful, man.
Right. Well, I don't think Brennan burned. Pat, I think, thinks that Felicia was the one that got his channel banned. But you know, Kevin's not the guy to feel bad for you, right? Pat got his channel banned. And Kevin was like, oh, maybe I can get Felicia on now because I can't have Pat on anymore. You know, he doesn't care. Whatever it is that's going to bring in money, that's what he cares about.
Right. Sure. And like you said, that's why I will say this, MLC, Kevin Brennan is doing a far better job of turd wrangling than Shuley did on the Stern Show.
Yeah, that's so true. That is so true. It's weird, isn't it?
That's the show, but that's it. It's the whack pack. Brennan has his own whack pack. And unfortunately, Karmic's kind of in that, even though I think he's above some of those guys.
Opinion, until he gets the total, even though he can get it immediately as the day ends, KB has only withheld money from Levy after he betrayed him with TSN.
That's not why he
and
kept
Sue
that money.
Costello.
That's not why he kept that money.
I have to tell you that I know of at least 2 other people that he's withheld money from. That he said he was going to pay, and then he's decided afterwards that he wasn't going to pay them. Wasn't huge amounts of money, but it was still the money.
And he
didn't pay.
He justifies it for whatever reason later. That's not why he kept the money. That's not why he got rid of Levy and what have you. Levy was saying, I ain't going to do this show no more. It's fucking toxic. I'm not doing it no more. And then he went, well, bad fucking timing quitting, mate, because you were going to get paid tomorrow, and now I'm going to just keep your fucking money. That's what happened. It wasn't anything about getting betrayed.
Well, as I remember that entire incident, Kevin fired Levy before Levy quit. So, and it was all over that Chad phone call in Atlantic City. It doesn't. It's
all bullshit. Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. But Right, but the point is that if Kevin says I'm going to pay you $50 to come on the show, it doesn't matter what the total is. It doesn't matter what the net was. It doesn't matter. He's agreed to pay you $50, right? It's not at the end of the month. It doesn't matter. You don't need to wait a month and a half to pay people, and especially these guys. So I think he uses the money as a cudgel, and you're welcome to disagree with me.
Oh, who's going to disagree with that? That's literally what KB does, which is fine.
Well, the guys in the chat are disagreeing with me, but all right.
Oh, okay, sure.
All right, kids. I think it's time for us to wrap this up. Sperg, thank you so much for coming on. And
Dude, thank you for having me, man. I see you guys in chat all the time. We talk. Pleasure to speak to you and have this conversation. Went really well. It's been a few hours now. Geez, 2.5.
Yeah. What I had, the infamous tweet was Pineapple saying that Karmic was, I don't know if you used the word a gem or something. You were like he was a good thing to happen to the DAO, like the best thing that's happened to the dabbleverse in a while or something like that. And I was thinking he was a breath of fresh air. And but I also wondered about him, and I've also gotten DMs that say things like, you were the thing of the moment, but look at what Karmic's done with it. So I didn't really want to say anything because I don't want to, I don't want to do a hit job on him like, oh, I'm jealous of him, or you're jealous of him and his success. we wanted to talk about it. So
yeah. I'm at a point in my life I don't think I can be jealous of any other man, no matter how successful or how downtrodden. I'm not going to be, oh, I don't have that, or thankful that I'm not that guy. I know who I am, and I know where I'm standing in my life, and
I'm happy for Karmic.
Yeah,
right. I am more than happy to help anybody. But don't if I say something sort of as a fan / a guy who's been there for a minute watching you, don't just go ahead and tell me to fuck off and expect me to not retaliate. That's my point. That's all.
I got you.
I was being nothing. Same with Echo, dude. I will help you out till the day's end. You just DM me, Schmuel. If you need help with anything,
I always do.
DM me. Yep. Cool. Yeah, we will. That's another thing. This is a $40 microphone from Walmart. Probably sounds like it, and that's a Boost mobile phone. You can do this on a budget. You can be better. Karmic's got money to invest, and I'm spend it the right way and make your dollars stretch, man. You can do it.
Producer Sperg, just saying.
If I can just talk at him.
But what Moody, I always thought what Moody said was important. Like Moody had a list of things, right, that he sees with successful stuff, and the first two things were content, and the second thing was audio, right? And if you don't have those two things, nothing else really matters. And your $40 mic from Walmart is working great. I go to different places. I invested in a $250 microphone, and it's changed. Like it's made a huge difference. But I got people telling me, "Oh, you got to get a Rodecaster. You got to no."
Nope.
Right. I really want to throw Schmuel under the bus here, right? So earlier on, I was like, "Oh yeah, send us the link and what have you." He's like, "Yeah, but I want to do an intro first and then have you guys on later." I'm like, "Okay, cool, fine, whatever." But if just as a heads up, if you sent us the link earlier and before you went live, was like, "Oh, hi Echo, hi Sperg," and then we're like, "We can't hear you, you're muted," and then you went, "Sorry, Echo, I'm not muted," and then I type in chat, "You're muted, we can't fucking hear you." It would save a lot of these issues. So for someone who's streaming by yourself, my main concern would be, is there anything going wrong? So if you've got two guests on, honestly, just a little forethought with that, be like, Echo, any chance you can just pop on before the stream starts for 5 minutes so I can test stuff? Just let
me end the stream, but do me a favor and hang on.
Nope, I'm going to bed.
All right, yeah, let's get out of here.
All right, but let's end the stream. I'm trying to keep these relatively short. Everybody, thank you.
Echo Pineapple, thank you very much. Go follow me and watch me this weekend. Thanks for letting me plug my show after 2.5 hours.
I was going to let you.
Jesus. Motherfucker.
Yeah. All right.
Jesus Christ, this Schmuel.
Sperg, do you have any?
Sperg Snake.
At Sperg
that's it.
Snake.
At Sperg Snake on YouTube and Twitter. And
At Echo
I'm in Discord a
Pineapple.
lot too. But
Echo, you be back this weekend?
I am back. Yeah, I am back Saturday, Sunday, baby. Come watch me and Rochi, and even me and Mumbling Nick. He's not feeling too good, but he'll be around. So yeah, come watch me.
I just gave him a follow.
And I really thank you guys for. I'm at like 100. Last I checked, I was like at 198 subscribers, which absolutely blows me away that anybody would do that. So thank you all so much. And normally, Sperg, what I do is I mostly just interact with the chat during the show, and so I apologize to chat if we didn't do that tonight. But when I get two guys like this, I really I want to hear what they have to say. So thank you guys. All right, I'm going to end the stream.
Later.